Hello. So no one's in here just yet. It still says 0. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that you could click on the little eyeball when you're in your StreamYard and it tells you who all's in, or how many people's in here. But it says there's one. One, don't know who it is because they haven't commented or anything. So one of the first things I wanted to kind of set and talk about was that I wanted to tell everybody thanks, and I appreciate them for the getting to the 1,000. What's up, Thrash? And Al Chafe, my back step. So I'm gonna copy. Paste. Hang on just a second. I'm on a live stream. Okay, so I have the StreamYard linked there, and I'm going to go to the channel and I'm going to pin it. If I can, what can I go to it? What do you mean I can't go to my own video? Being kind of cantankerous here. Oh, here it is. Being kind of cantankerous here. Oh, here it is. Okay, now I'm back for real this time. So I pinned the YouTube or the StreamYard link to the chat there if anyone wants to come up and hang out. Oh, Al's down in the basement. We got Al.
Hey, how's it going?
Al? What are you at now on your subscriber count?
830 something. And I've almost got my 4,000 hours on it. I need 300 hours.
So I was 300 hours away when I hit my 1,000, and then one of my big videos dropped off, and then I dropped below 1,000, and then another big video dropped off, and now I'm at just 1,400 hours.
What?
So really big videos drop off of my deal. It's kind of discouraging.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's not what all I said.
No, I don't say that's all you said. I say there was a lot more colorful language in use.
Yeah. So
That's
how have
crazy.
you been now?
Pretty good. Hanging in there. Yourself?
I'm getting a lot of links pop up on my computer. I finally got a new computer, so I don't have to sit and hold my other one. I got me a brandy new one.
Nice.
It's pretty sweet.
That's what I gotta do one of these days. I'm still running Windows 7 on most, so all of my stuff actually. Except my phone. That's why I'm always using my phone for StreamYard and stuff.
Well, so the computer that I ordered, I opted out of the webcam so I could get more RAM and more memory. And it, like, my computer's really nice, but I have to use my phone as the webcam. So
Nice.
what anymore? All the new laptops come with the C port, and so you can still get a really good quality video with your phone. Because really, a lot of your phones anymore are just as good as like your big cameras.
Oh gosh, yes. Yep.
So I could actually Bluetooth my Canon camera, but then I'd have to plug it in and everything else because the battery won't. It'll last about an hour and that's it.
Yeah.
And since I'm doing a live, I'm planning on staying live for a while so I can try to get some watch hours.
Building back up a bit for sure. Well, I got you running on the computer now, and well, I don't know if up in the stream counts towards it, but I got you up on the computer now too. Spec.
Yeah, I mean, I ran Chef's playlist for a while. Chef and I are supposed to be doing a video together. Hang on a second, and I'll grab the deal we're gonna do.
Yeah, Drunken Chef was saying about that you guys were doing the collab together, so that's upcoming. Nice. Ghost pepper
So
candy.
yeah, so we're going to be eating these on a live stream and see who can go the longest without getting a drink. So it'll be
fun. That's gonna be
What?
fun. Yeah.
I think Chef likes hot food like I do, so it'll be a job to try to probably get one of us to go get a drink.
I don't know though. Some of the candy and stuff is kind of not the same as hot spicy food.
No, that's why we probably neither one of us will probably get a drink because it'll be kind of sweet and we really won't need it.
It's like this thing. No, I don't mean for that. This thing was horrible taste.
Although, yeah, well, the candies aren't usually horrible tasting. Usually they're kind of sweet, but they're really hot, but they're kind of sweet, so you don't really have to have a drink. But the chip challenge deal that you have up there, it tastes like cardboard.
I'd say wet, dirty cardboard.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%.
It was horrid. I didn't taste nothing that awful before in my life. And I mean, like, I got Chef's rubs with the ghost pepper and stuff like that. It don't taste nothing like that. I think it's just, ugh.
So they brought those one chip challenge deals to work, and all of this sat down at the table, and I think 6 of us ended up doing it. But there was one guy, he hates hot food, and man, he's like, oh yeah, I'll try it, and it was like he touched it with his tongue and just started like going crazy. No. It's like it's not hot.
It was for me. It was really hot. My tongue bled.
Well, that would be. I don't know if hot food's ever made me bleed before.
Well, that thing made me bleed. I ate the whole thing though. I didn't just take a little bite of it or anything. I put the whole thing in my mouth and chewed. I still cringe when I think about putting that in my mouth and chewing it all.
That's funny.
Oh, it's just nasty. It was. If you found dirty cardboard on the floor and you crumpled it up and you put it on a stale, dirty old Tostitos chip that was left out for like 2 years and mushed it all in there and then put it in your mouth and tried, that's what it's like.
Yeah, I taste the hot. It was hot, but I couldn't get over the cardboard taste. I was like, And everybody, so like, do you guys have Buffalo Wild Wings where you live, Al?
Yep.
So I get the flaming Buffalo Wings every time I get Buffalo Wings, or the one right like 2 below it, which is the Caribbean Jerk, because I just like the flavor of it. Hey, Brenda. But yeah. But not all Buffalo Wild Wings are created equal.
Well, that's it too, but I am not a spicy food person either.
Yeah.
The hottest spicy stuff, like I was always complaining when there's too much pepper in my food, black pepper. So I went from that to this.
So when we go to restaurants, I'll have to take the lid off of the pepper just so I can put more on there because I can't ever get it tasting good
Right?
enough.
And what did I do? Silly me, I went out and bought a little nitro. This thing is 2.2 million Scoville units.
Yeah.
Little
Doesn't say
nitro, little nitro is 9 million Scoville units.
it doesn't say on here what these are.
Well, ghost pepper is, I think, 100,000.
Well, so they all say that, but I've had a ghost pepper before that wasn't. I've had a jalapeno hotter than I've had that one ghost pepper. I
Now
think it's all
there's some peppers that they grow that will be ghost pepper flavor, but it wouldn't have the Scovilles in it. It's like
right.
the habaneros. You can get the habaneras, and
Yeah,
it tastes like a habanero, but it's not spicy.
yeah.
And
No,
I
we're
think
not
you can
eating
get
hot
ghost
sauce.
pepper the same.
So I was just telling Al that me and Drunken Chef Barbecue are going to be eating these candies on a live stream together, just and seeing who can last the longest without getting a drink. Hey, Annie's Kitchen. Thanks for coming in.
Hello. Yeah, but
My wife must have not taken her Apple Watch to work because it's ringing.
here's the phone ringing.
Well, I have my work phone here. It's been going off pretty well nonstop this weekend.
Yeah,
My wife's like, "You're supposed to be off on the weekends." I was like, "I know, but it's still gonna answer it."
just one of those things. Meow.
So, did you see the spy balloon deal that everybody's been going crazy about?
Oh my god. They shot down over the Atlantic Ocean.
So somebody
It
mentioned it
sailed
the
right
other day.
across. It sailed right across the states, and then when it got all the way across, then they shot it down.
I I've been so. Side note. So I haven't seen anything about it until today, and then it was brought up in over on Kettle Kitchen after show deal or after hours. I was on there for a little bit talking to Dale and Tony and everybody there, and they were talking about this that balloon deal. And I'm like, well, I just didn't know it was that big of a deal. I didn't know anything about it really till earlier today. So Brittany said that she
Yeah.
will be doing a 500 giveaway in a week or so if anybody wants to donate stickers or in. Brenda, I'll
Nice.
email you. That's
I'll get in on it. I still got some stickers kicking around. I can put a couple of stickers off the back for sure. Um, if you want to send me an email, let me know when you're doing it, and I'll make sure that I'm there.
so
And even if I'm not,
I
I'll
haven't
put
been
two stickers
on
up.
very many live streams lately. Um,
No,
oh, Tony
I,
came in.
I see you around in the chats here and there.
Yeah. Usually I just pop up and say hello and then I just let it run in the background. I have it in my earbud and I'm out working on something. But today was the first day I actually been able or I had time where I could go and actually participate in live streams. And I won a
No,
shirt and a cup over at MT Homestead. If I'm sure everybody in here has heard of MT, but if you haven't and you come in, go check out MT Homestead. They're doing um, a meetup at Lake Tenkiller here in Oklahoma. And I
nice.
actually had planned on going. My little sister lives right by Lake Tenkiller, and my wife and I had tossed around the idea of going up there, staying night with my sister, and going to that. Oh, it was yours, Brenda. You didn't win it, so it wasn't yours. It was mine.
Oh boy.
So if we would have got the campsite deal, that would have been pretty neat because they gave away a camping spot for their
For the meetup,
for the meetup. Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
that is pretty neat.
It was an RV spot too, so it was a little bit more.
Were they
expensive.
if I had won, would they send me a plane ticket and an RV for when I got there?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. You could have rented an RV when you got here.
That could have went good. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's
No,
so
I
there's
love
that
it. See, this
meetup.
is
Go ahead.
this is one of the reasons why I'd like to live closer down into the States somewhere, because then I could get around and go to some of these meetups and that I really miss out on because we don't really have them here.
Yeah, but, I mean, you could start doing your own. I
There's
mean,
not enough people doing what I'm doing here.
well, but
I
just
know,
call it
like I could meet like 2 people.
well, how many? Surely there's more than that YouTube there.
Yeah, but most of them are like streaming video games and stuff 24/7, so they're not really on the platform like this. All it is them playing a video game, and they
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
really do meetups.
yeah, that's fair.
Mhm.
Like around here, there's a bunch of YouTubers in Oklahoma. Like there's a couple over 1 million in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
so
like it'd be different if there was homesteaders and stuff like that here that were on that I knew of that I could
yeah,
meet up with, you know, and homesteaders or campers and hikers. But really, there's one guy that I met out in Mount Pearl, and there's one guy that I met out in Shea Heights, and we haven't physically met. We just met on here.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. So there's one it's a kid channel, and they're in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, and they have like 5 million subscribers. I accidentally bumped into them. I'm wearing my YouTube t-shirt or sweater, and they were all about it. What's up, Jerry?
Hey.
What else did you say you wanted besides fries?
Hey, Al.
Hey. And the microphone goes off.
I'm
How you
listening.
been?
I was listening.
Well, it's all right. I don't know. Stuff happens. You have to have conversations and off life. All good.
So, Jerry, I've seen you around today.
Hey, everywhere.
Well, just kind of all over.
I've got a few chats.
It's good to get out and about like that once in a while.
Well, I went down to Arkansas today and picked up a table that we wanted to. It's called a serving table, but we're using it to display my my ducks, my stuffed ducks.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, we down there and picked it up, brought it home, put it away, and I got to do a video now, recording all the ducks so they'll tell a story about all of them.
So,
More content.
question for you guys. I know Jerry has kind of gotten into the mix of this, but I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a lot of videos about chickens not laying eggs and whatnot.
That's a bunch of, I don't want to be mean, but it's a bunch of BS.
I've seen a few things about it. I don't pay no mind. Chickens are not stopping laying eggs.
Well, it's the time of year, really. I think has a lot more to do with it.
Yeah. Every year this happens to us. Every year they slow down. We get 20 birds. We get 1 or 2 eggs for a couple months or a couple weeks. Then they start picking up. We start getting 5, and next thing you know, we got 18 eggs a day, and we're going, oh my god, what are we gonna do with all these eggs? So
Yeah.
it's like
Save
that.
some of them for when they only lays 1 or 2.
Pardon me?
Save some of them for when they only lays 1 or 2.
Yeah. It's like that balloon they shot down. I felt like I should do a video about get a little balloon and throw it in the air and then shoot it, knock it, put a pin to it.
I
Come on.
I thought about
that's-
doing something like that too, with it blow up a
So
balloon
that's-
and shoot it with my Pelican or something. It's like,
Yeah.
I just got the balloon.
That's
Oh,
what
look
Dale
at
told
this
me I
sky
should
balloon
name the
landed in my
live
yard.
stream.
I don't know.
What's
I mean,
up? What's up, Mike and Terry?
Mike
We
and
were
Terry.
I was just telling everybody that if they haven't checked out you guys' channel, they need to go over there because you win stuff when you go there. I already got one MT T-shirt.
Oh, you
Now
know
I'm gonna
what?
have another one with a
I want
cup.
to know how your secret. Every place you go, you win. You have some
I'm
kind of, right timing or something to put it in. Be a number
Well,
so and so, and you got a chance.
Well, that last one, the one I actually won something on, I put it in once at the top, but I thought I misspelled it. And then I typed it in again, and I was the last one. And then Terry hit the draw button, and I won. Now, does that have anything to do with it?
I do not know.
I don't either.
What were they using? Were they using
StreamYard.
giveaway too?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That has no bearing whatsoever. It only picks up 1 entry.
Yeah, I know. So I have no idea.
I do the same things sometimes. I type it in and go like, oh, I don't think I typed it right. Hey, Tony's in here from Kettle Kitchen.
Yeah.
There's times I was the very first one to put it in and I won. There was times I was in the middle and I put it in and I won. And there was times I was the very last person to win and I won.
So
And
they
it has
say-
no bearing on how much
say
you're talking in the
it's
chat room or anything. Nope. There's times I just showed up and saw the hashtag going up, so I put it in and won.
Yeah, I don't think it did because I was editing a video whenever they were doing their live, but I mean I was in there chatting with people, but not a whole lot because I was editing a video and doing that. So but yeah, we're planning on going to their I'll actually if there's hang on just a second.
You're going to the meetup, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. I just made them a moderator if they want to. I'm pretty sure it's Terry when it's just MT Homestead.
Let's see the Terry or Mike.
Yeah, so if they want to add it to their put the link for the stuff that in the chat, they can for the meetup. But yeah, I don't know how the StreamYard tool works, but it seems I generally win something everywhere I go.
Yeah,
and
I
it's kind
know.
of funny. That's the first live stream I've really been at in like 3 weeks, and the last one I won something else too. It was that
I can't say I don't win. I won at Ginger. I won. We won a couple of books from Ginger, and I did win on Jesse's giveaway that he's recently had too. So
So Mitchell, you can just start entering for me.
it was the Suburban Homestead, Wyoming, Arizona. I won a deal at Thursday. I haven't even opened it yet because I've been so busy I've been busy at work.
You've been working long hours, haven't you?
Yeah. So I've been refurbishing machines, and they just keep adding them to me and shortening deadlines and stuff. So
yeah, I heard they want to send you to Canada.
Yeah, and then I'm supposed to be going to Kent, Washington too.
Wow.
What part of Canada are you going to?
I don't know. I just was told it was Canada. I did hear the Kent, Washington one. Brenda says she hasn't won in a while. There's Joshy Poo.
Hey, Josh.
Yep. There's Susan.
I need my glasses on. Unspeakable.
I
No.
won once recently in a thing that I couldn't win. My name came up, but it was United States only. I was like, oh, crap.
Oh no, I want to
Just
deal.
my
I want
luck.
to deal at drunken. I want to deal at drunken chefs too. I'm supposed to be getting a cup. That was the
Oh, you're
one.
getting a drunken chef mug, are you? Is it a
Yeah.
mug
So
or?
I think it's a mug. I don't remember.
Whew.
He said it might be a while, so I haven't been like, like if I win something on one of them, I don't get overly stressed out about when I'm getting it or anything like that because it's free. And people got to understand that it costs a lot of money to do all these giveaways. That's what
That's right.
Yep.
I don't get impatient or anything. And if I get it, I get it. If I don't,
I just worry about it getting to me because that service is
I've
terrible.
I've had stuff that was sent to me by people and it got lost in the mail. I don't even fizz on it. That is postal service. That's not you. Because I've had people say to me, "Did you receive my thing?" I was like, "No, I never did." Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What are you apologizing for? You didn't do it,
Right. Well, like I sent. So
right?
oh, what's his name? I sent him some fishing lures because he was going to give 20 of them away. And I sent him to him 3 times, and he never received them any of the 3 times. Because I make fishing jigs for bass fishing, and I sent him some so I could give him a roll at the Reef Robber. And
Here's
he never. No, there's Chef. Hey, Chef.
Yes,
I was telling
it pops in.
I was telling everybody about the old ghost pepper candy deal. I'm gonna make you take a drink before me.
How many are you going to eat of them?
I don't know, as many as it takes to make him get a drink before me.
So you're going to go candy for candy?
Yeah, I want to try some of those noodles that he was eating the other day on his.
Those noodles are kind of like eating that one chip.
Well, they were black. They look like worms. I put that on there, and his wife was like, "Ew."
Yeah.
Oh, we have rules now.
Kristen?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I was just gonna see if I could make you take a drink before me.
Chef, I'm here now. I got to come up with all kinds of crazy rules. You gotta go candy for candy. One out of the red bag, one out of the blue bag. One out of the red bag, one out of the blue bag.
Until someone takes a drink. Chef will probably beat me on taking a drink first, I'm sure, because I eat hot food all the time, but I don't know if I can compete with Chef on hot food.
Congratulations, Chef. I heard you got your hours.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that.
Didn't he post it on his community tab?
He did, yeah, but I don't know if I don't even know. I'm probably after congratulating him already. Stuff just pops in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's why I work on my hours. I'm only at 1,400, and I got almost 600 people, and I figured I need about 2,400 hours at 600. So I'm about 1,000 hours behind.
So
I was over 300 videos out there, so people have to sit and watch them. I got almost 40 hours in video.
Start launching your own lives.
Huh?
So
start doing your own
300
lives.
hours away.
That'll bring your hours up.
I was 300 hours away, Jerry, and now I'm 1,400 hours away.
You were 300 hours away, now you're 1,400?
I had a bunch of big videos drop off. A bunch of my tractor repair videos.
Wow.
And they were like 30-minute long videos.
What's your subscriber list at?
1,028 or something like that. Or 1,020.
Wow. Well, I've got 3 lives out there, which, they're they're okay. They're not great, but and I have been trying to play my playlists and stuff on one or two. Can't play it on one on my computer. But
Well, you got to make sure you clear your watch history. Otherwise, if you keep watching them, it doesn't count.
well, how do you clear your watch history?
You go to up in your YouTube deal. It'll say where your little icon is. If you click on it and drag it down, they'll be there. Or you can actually clear your browser history. You
I
want to do
click on the
that
icon.
too,
I've got says your
because you can't
channel,
just clear one of them.
YouTube.
You have to clear both of them because your cache on your internet. Hang on, let me go to it.
I don't see where it says clear.
So
See, I went in and I turned off my
if
watch
you go
history on
to,
YouTube.
you click,
Leave my pen alone.
you go,
Leave
you
my
click on
pen
it.
alone.
Okay, say it again, Mitchell.
It's under
I
settings,
lost
I
it.
think. What?
Your sound's not.
Oh,
matching.
it's probably because I was over clicked on the other deal. Is it not matching?
Now it is. You're back to normal. Okay, so do what?
Yeah,
now?
you were
Click on-
roboting
Oh.
out there for a minute.
Click on your icon
It-
and then do what?
Because I was trying to make down to settings. You go down to settings in the icon,
I don't see settings in the icon.
and then what?
I got when I click on the
kind of-
icon, I got what I got is it says your channel, YouTube, switch account, sign out, appearance, theme, and then send feedback. That's all that's on my.
What? So what happened yesterday? So I had
That bar on the side of that bar that came out on your icon, you should be able to scroll down.
Okay, I got the other one. I can find it. All right, go to settings. All right, I got settings, notifications, feedbacks, performances, practices, connected apps, billing, payment, and advanced settings.
So where are you at, Jerry?
On the main.
He just
go
went
to-
into the settings.
Pardon me? What'd you say, Al?
Oh, I was just saying he just went into settings on his icon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in settings, I got like 5 apps running here. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do it again without it going crazy. YouTube. Did I lock up again?
Nope, you're fine.
No,
I must have.
now we're just all looking at stuff. You got us
So-
on a hunt now.
Stop. Stop.
Come on. You know you want to load.
I can't remember where it was. I found it on mine.
So you go to settings and you're an account, and then it's view or change your account settings, memberships, view advanced settings.
View advanced settings. I got that.
Yeah, that's not it.
Oh, dang it. All these little secrets you need to know.
So I have a little macro set up on my computer, and I hit it, and it just automatically does it. I just have to I'll have to look up how I have it set up, Jerry.
All right, look at it
And
and just email it to me.
Yeah, when I did it on mine, I'm pretty sure I went into Google search and I just searched YouTube watch history, and it gave me a link to go right to my watch history, and I just turned my watch history off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you just keep playing over and over, then, huh?
Yeah, you have to clear out your web browser every so often, but you can just continuously play. Because then what I would do is I'd go into someone's playlist and hit loop playlist, and it would just replay them all.
Oh, that's what Double Dog told me. He was that he does, and he plays 3 or 4 at a time. But I'm going like, well, I've played my own. I mean, I know my hours are like 34 hours of actual video, and I've got like 6 hours of live so far. So
yeah, so just make like a master list with them all on them.
That's what I do. I have them all on master list now.
Yeah, and just keep playing that over and over.
Clear out that history first, I guess. So that's
Chef,
why
I got your email.
Huh?
I was responding to Chef.
Okay.
I got his email. I seen it last night.
You should have mine too.
See you, Brenda.
But yeah, that's stuff you got to learn from other people, because you don't see it any place. They didn't tell you any place in there what to do. And I don't know how to get all that stuff around.
Well,
I have a session with Devil Dog on Monday. Maybe he can, or tomorrow actually. Maybe he can help me figure out where that's at, and help me clear it out.
Yeah, Eddie knows how to do it all.
But I hit 580 today, all-time high.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's not as fast as other people maybe, but we did have Papa's Kitchen did a shout out for us, and I didn't even know about it. And all of a sudden, I got this notice that he did a shout out, so I went and watched it, and I mean, it really was a good shout out. He said that we showed the good, the bad, and the ugly about farming, and we're very transparent, which I try to be. I want everybody to know that farming isn't as easy as you may think it is.
It's not as pretty either.
Huh?
And it's not as pretty either.
No, it's not. There's a lot of death, and there's a lot of things you got to do that you really like to do, and so that was, to me, that was a real good shout out, because it told people, hey, if you want to see what really happens on the farm, watch this guy's channel, and you'll really see what goes on involved. You may not see all of it, because I can't show you a whole day. It would be like walk around me all day long. Sometimes it could be, 15 minutes could be boring, and then it could be nothing but stupid busy all day long. So I tried just to hit highlights, and so you can see what's happening.
Yeah.
But, we try to show all the good stuff, the bad, and talk about the good, bad stuff also. But it's basically what we've done is we just did our whole life basically on YouTube now. I mean, I wish I would have started this when I bought this property, because this property has changed so much over the 16 years that people wouldn't recognize it from 16 years ago to now.
Yeah.
So it's changed so much. But anyways.
Well, so my YouTube channel says I started in 2017, which is kind of true. I created an account because I was going to start in 2017, but I didn't actually start recording anything until a year, almost. Well, in June it'll be 2 years.
Okay.
So whenever you see my channel, it says 2017. Well, and it was planned. I was planning on being a fishing channel, not a farming channel. And
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Your watch history. Open your main YouTube page.
Okay, hang on.
Just your YouTube page. Doesn't have to be yours. Just open YouTube.
Okay.
You see the little three lines in the left-hand corner?
Yeah.
Click that.
Okay. It says home, short,
Sports,
shorts,
subscriptions, library,
library.
history. Hit
Yeah.
history.
I don't have history.
Should be right there. It should be right under library.
Now I just went to YouTube. You want me to go to my channel first?
You can go on your channel, but it should come up when you opens the YouTube page right away. But click on
Yeah,
your
history.
channel.
I got it.
There. Okay, click there.
Uh-huh.
And then it should be your
Watch
watch history.
It's
Yep.
highlighted. Just take it off and highlight
Yep.
it.
Now I got mine. There's a little menu under. There's a little thing on there. It says clear all watch history. You can click that.
Yep.
Underneath it should show your watch history turned on. I clicked that and I turned it off.
Okay, I cleared my watch history. There's nothing there.
That's the way mine is all the time. Mine never has a watch history
Okay.
because I got
And
it
you have
turned
to have
off.
volume in it too. You have to have
Over
volume.
right here, it
Yeah,
tells
you
me.
have to have volume. I know that. I know you have to have at least a 1 or 2 volume on it, on the video itself, not on your computer, but on the video.
Yeah,
I turned my computer sound off, but the video has to have a sound on it.
Yep.
Well, I got that helped me out. Thanks, Al. I appreciate that.
no problem. I knew there was a simple way to get in there. I had to look it up again because I was like, I don't go in there because I never had to delete mine because I had it turned off.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's what it is.
That's, I learned something. I'm always trying to learn.
Well, that's it. I'm glad I could help you out because I mean, like, I by no means do I know everything on there. Like I said, I just had to look it up, but I knew there was a simple way to get in there.
Yeah, my wife tries to run it on the TV and watch all the videos over, but I don't know if we can turn the watch history off the TV or not.
I think if you do that on your main account, when you're logged in on any other thing, it should still be off
Okay,
because your account has it shut off.
that's what I'll do that, and then I go to bed, I turn it on, and we'll see what happens.
Let it run.
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll see what happens. So, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem. I'm glad I could help.
I just need to get
Look at
another
that.
420 people.
I have had so many people helping me along the way. I'm glad I can help somebody else.
Yeah, send it forward or pay it forward. It helps.
Yep.
It seems like to me though we get 1 or 2 people almost every day that subscribe. I mean, I don't, I go on. I don't know where there's coming from because I don't always get notices of it. It's all of a sudden the number changes. Like what? Where'd that come from?
Well, one thing where that comes from, if you don't get a notification for them. So, like, my subscription are private, so no one that I'm subscribed to it shows to. And
So you don't get a notification.
Yeah, so you wouldn't get a notification if I'm subscribed. But if Al has his turned on, then you'll get a message that says Al Chafe's My Back Step is a new subscriber to your channel.
Yeah, I see.
And I have mine turned off for a couple of reasons.
What about people who watch it on their phones who aren't, and they subscribe on the phone?
You'll get the watch hours, but you'll get the watch hours, but until they log in on their phone or create an account, then you won't get a subscription for it.
Yeah, so they can watch it and subscribe, but I won't never know that they subscribe because they're watching on their phone.
Well,
you will if they're logged in.
Yeah,
if they're logged in, like I'm logged in on my phone, and if I subscribe to you, you'll see it come up and say I subscribe to you.
Even if you don't have an account on YouTube?
No.
You would have to have an account with YouTube.
Yeah, you can't subscribe if you don't have an account.
Oh, you really? Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can only watch.
Okay.
If you don't have an account, you can watch YouTube, but you can't subscribe.
Okay. That makes lots of sense. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I'm learning too much stuff. You guys, wait till tomorrow. I got to have something to learn every day. Learn all today, I'm learning anything tomorrow.
Do you know how many times I went and rewatched the video because the people were talking about something that I didn't know anything about, and then I was like, I'm gonna have to write this down or something. It's like, no, wait, now it's all on here. I can just go back and rewatch it.
Yeah. Well, Susan and I
So
were talking today when we went to Arkansas. She says, I got to stop watching so many people's videos because I'm not getting nothing done. I said, yeah, that could be a bad thing. Is if you want to watch people's videos and support everybody, but you can't sit there and watch all the videos and not be making your own content or not be able to get your own things done. I mean, it's got like you got to make an even. You got to figure out what it even balances. Which ones you can watch. I mean, I told her I got 117 subscriptions that I've subscribed to people, and I try to watch a little bit of each one of them, but I can't sit and watch all their videos. I just would never get any work done. And
I'm subscribed to about 1,000 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not never gonna be able to watch all of their videos.
Yeah, you can't watch all of them.
That's just a part of a whole part of the thing. You got to prioritize but diversify in who you're watching and where you're watching and when you're watching.
All right.
Because
So I am not subscribed to that many channels. I mean, I'm like 350 or something like that. And really, I've got my majority of those in the last, December when I didn't record a whole bunch. I just had my stockpile of videos that I released. That's probably the most I subscribe to people. So, and I think it was over. That Bless's vlog where I sent you over, or someone sent you over to. That's where I actually probably subscribe to the most of them at.
Well, most of mine are actually bushcrafting subscriptions.
They're what?
Well, it's
bushcrafters, because that's one of the biggest things I do on my channel is bushcrafting. So I was subscribing to a lot of bushcrafters, getting ideas, watching their videos, and once I started getting into the live streaming, that's when I started meeting all these other people, the homesteaders, farmers, people like Chef and Redbird and Nancy and all these other diverse bunch of people that I started following and really connecting with more on a personal level. So I kind of veered away from the bushcrafting, even though I'm still considered somewhat bushcrafting channel. But a lot of my subscriptions did come from there.
Well,
I did.
There's nothing wrong with being subscribed to a bunch of channels. It's just
No.
like you guys said a minute ago. I just don't have time to watch them. Like there's a handful of big channels that, like, when Nina and I have time, we'll sit down and watch. That I'm really good friends with, like Keeping It Dutch, Arms Family Homestead, and then there's some other ones like the Sunny Farms. I don't know if you guys have heard of those guys or not. Sunny Farms, they're a big channel, but they're just. And the reason why I like watching like Sunny Farms is the way that he records. It's kind of like he mashes stuff up so well together. It's like, man, he's good. He makes really good videos, and he's they're a big cattle farm. So I watch them, and then Just a Few Acres. Just a Few Acres. I watch those guys. They're pretty cool. Upstate New York.
Oh yeah, I know I'll never get to watch all of the channels I'm subscribed to, but it's nice that I have those because a lot of times something will pop up from one of the random ones I'm subscribed to, and I'll be like, "Oh, that looks really interesting," so I'll go and watch it.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's the few that are really big channels that I've always watched, that I'm always gonna watch.
Yeah. Well,
and I'll keep going back and watch them, right?
Well, and like Keeping It Dutch's channel, like I've met him personally.
Yeah, so have I.
and I, you know, we hung out for a while at his last little the Okie Homestead Expo. We sat and talked. Me, him, Daniel, everybody that was there. My foot is cramping and it hurts like crazy.
I don't think they said that.
I met Daniel and I met Dutch at the YouTube Creators Conference they put on down there in Broken Arrow last year in August.
Yeah,
I went to that and I met both of them. You know, and Dutch was pretty cool and stuff. And I also met Lester and Jamie from I'm a Survivor.
Yeah.
You know, and I got 130 subscribers from Lester just because he put me on a like this and told everybody he had like 700 people watching a live, and he told them, hey, if you haven't seen Butler Family Farms, go check it out. And I was like, well, I appreciate that. And man, within an hour I had 100 new ones, and then by the end of the week I had 130.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how many of those I kept or how many left, but still, a lot of them came on from that, and that was cool. Now, I haven't got any. Well, Dutch hasn't ever put me. I don't think Dutch even does lives. But,
yeah, he does.
I've never seen any of his lives, and I've seen Daniel's lives where him and DJ is sitting out there on the porch, but they don't do lives like this where they bring other regular people. And I think it's because I'm not big enough for him to bring up, and so
I don't think, after talking to him, I don't think that's the case. So I think it's just they've got so many people trying to get some time that they don't want to leave someone out.
They don't want to single out people or
right.
step over anyone. That's a tough position to be put into when you're up bigger like that. It's hard.
You guys know Annie Dale, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she also met Lester at the video conference, and somehow him and her got on a live together, and she had like 400 some odd subscribers. Well, by the time she got off that live, she went to 6,400 subscribers, and she said it was overwhelming. It was just so many people so fast. She didn't know how to respond to all the emails and all of the comments that she was getting. But she went over to 6,000, and now she's over. I think she's over 6,500 now. But she keeps getting bigger. But I mean, like that overnight. And she was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" But
it can be overwhelming for that, and that's what I was getting at with Daniel and Sean. Like, you have so many people trying to get a little bit of the spotlight from them when there's so many other people in line, like even right. Sean has his brother that has a channel, and you don't hardly ever hear him talking about his channel. So
Sean, Daniel's brother?
No, Sean is Keeping It Dutch.
Oh, Keeping It Dutch. Okay, Keeping It Dutch channel. I didn't know his brother had a channel.
Yeah, his brother has a channel. He's got like 35,000 people.
Really?
Subscribers. Yeah.
I didn't know that. But I hung out with Dutch. Dutch seemed like a real cool guy. He told me he'd let me come down and check out his sawmill because I'm really thinking about buying one. And but then trying to get a hold of them to make arrangements to go down is just so tough. They're so busy to get so many emails. It just and I understand.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Daniel told me to hit him up because I don't live that far from either one of them really. And I'm pretty much right in the middle of them.
Well, I thought you're close. Are you farther south than Pryor?
Yeah, I'm farther south than Pryor, but I'm farther west too.
Okay. Well, are you going to go to the meetup they're having in June?
Yeah.
Okay. Susan and I are going to plan on coming down there we're just going to drive down each day because it's only an hour and a half from our house to drive down.
To Pryor?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're just going to drive down every day.
It takes me about 3 hours to get to Pryor. Maybe two, right at 2.
Well, we're going to drive down each day and check it out. And actually, that's right before I have my knee surgery. I'm having my knee surgery on the 13th. And I'm going to probably try to do a lot more lives after when I'm recovering from the knee surgery, because I'm not. They told me I can't go out and ride the mule. I can't drive my tractor. I can't walk around for a long period of time, and I can't sit for a long period of time. I said, so what do you expect me to do? They say, lay on your back with your knee up. And I'm like, really? I mean,
You have to have a camera
you know who
mounted
you're talking to?
to the ceiling.
Huh?
You have to have a camera mounted to the ceiling.
I'm going to just take. I'm in my bedroom here, anyways. So I'm just going to take the computer and move it closer to the bed, and the keyboard is wireless and the mouse is wireless. So, and I've got 2 screens now, so I'll just move one of the screens closer, and I'll just type laying there on the bed with the knee up, and do lives and sit and talk to people, and and I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of doing. I know I'm going to go stir crazy if I just try to sit and lay. I can't sleep 24 hours a day. It doesn't. I don't work that way. I get more than 6 hours sleep, but I get up. So
Yeah.
I don't. My wife says Susan says she didn't have to tie me down on the bed, or because she already knows it. She's like, can't. This will be harder than heck to keep you from wanting to get up and go outside. And and of course, June, July, and August is hay season.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have hay being cut. My 2 boys will be cutting the hay and raking and baling. And she said, "You're not going to go out there and check on it." I'm thinking like, well, somebody's got to go out and check and see if it's dry. And she said,
Yeah.
Doug can bring you some of it, check it out. So I mean, it's going to be. I know it's going to be tough, but I get it done. I should be able to be no more pain in my knee. I'll be able to walk around normal.
Yeah, the hay season would be a tough one for me to set out. I'd be like, well, let's move it to August.
Yeah, I moved it from. They wanted to do it last November, and it was during bowling season. And I said, well, let's do it at the end of bowling season this year, which would be May 1st. And then MT is having their meetup. Well, I thought I could 18 days. I thought I could go 18 days, go down there. Well, they told me I told the doctor what my plan was, and he looked at me and says, no, you're not. I said, excuse me? Because you ain't going anywhere for 30 days. And I said, well, 18 days. I mean, man, I should be up and around, running around crazy. He goes, no. He goes, I'm not. I'll tell you right now. I had a guy who went out and worked cows 2 weeks after he had the surgery. He got kicked in the knee. He got infected, and I had to cut his leg off. And he goes, I'm not doing that again. He says, if I have to come over to your place and sit on you, that's what I'll do. He goes, you are not going to be getting up. You're not going to be riding on the mule. You're not going to be riding a tractor. I'm going like, you know who you're talking to. He said, well, we can just stop the surgery altogether, not do it at all. I said, no. I mean, I got to have it done. And he said, then you're going to spend 30 days basically on your back with your knee up until it heals. And you'll be doing therapy. And he goes, and then after the 30 days, we'll talk about it. And we're like, oh, okay. So I moved it back to June 13th after the meetup. So actually, I moved that perfectly because I moved it past the MT meetup and then also past the Dutchess meetup. So I can go to both of them. And then Jan's having one in June 2nd at Stockton Lake. So I can be able to go to all 3 of those. And then, then I'll be laid up. So, I mean, I'm working on it going, yes, this is going to work out okay. Then I'm going to be like Al. I mean, I'm going to sit back and just go on people's lives and do my own lives and talk to everybody. People will be sick of me.
Jonesy?
Covered.
Hey, Jonesy.
Yeah,
Jonesy.
So it's been a while since I tore my ACL and my meniscus, or they messed up or went in there and fixed my meniscus when I was younger. And I don't know what surgery you're doing, but they told me the same thing. In like 10 days, I was up walking on
knee
it.
Replacement. I'm having knee replacement. I already had both my knees, the meniscus repairs. So this is the left knee, a complete replacement. And they go and they show you that I go, take your kneecap, I'm going to move it to the side here. I'm going like, okay. And then we're going to take this bone, we're going to grind all this off. And I go, okay. And we're going to put this cap on here, and then we're going to grind this all down. We're going to put this cap on thing here. We're going to put this piece in there that's Teflon that it's going to make that leg straighter, and it's going to make you taller on that side. I'm going like, okay, if you say so, and I don't get grossed out of that. I'm a first responder, so I mean, I've done CPR and people and everything else. I mean, okay, I think the doctor thought he was going to gross me out and tell me, you go, okay, I'll do what you say, you know. And I'm going, whatever. So, but anyways, I'll be glad to get it done. I won't be any more pain in my knee. That'll be, you know, and hopefully maybe my bowling scores will come back up. I'm down in the 180s, and you know, that's 20 to 25 pins off of it. Normally it is. So
I know.
Thank
So the doctor made me change my eating habits drastically, and I went from almost 260 down to 2.
What up?
hey,
What's going
What's
on,
up,
guys?
Dale?
Hey,
You're poking me over there, man.
Yeah. So Dale, yeah.
Yeah. What do you want,
I
old
just like
son?
I actually have one of the hats in there. When I met him down in Guthrie, I got a hat from him.
Oh, from Brisbane?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were working some cattle, and he gave us all hats.
The bull nose. On sale. Not for sale, not on sale.
Yeah,
My students call me he does the bit about the 67-year-old rancher
yeah,
wearing the suspenders. They say that's me.
yeah. It makes sense.
earlier. I saw your suspenders earlier. Hey,
Yep.
is that deer an 8-point or 10-point?
8-point.
You want to see my 10-point?
You bet. A little dark.
I'll just turn the light on. Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
That's a California mule deer.
Oh,
That's my 10-pointer.
cool.
Plus all my duck.
nice.
I gotta go check on the kids real quick. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. We can take over the show, right, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, Al, what's going on? I seen you and Double Dogs last night, I think it was.
Yep.
Jerry,
Double
you
Dog.
were
I was on.
You were in the chat when I popped in there,
Yep.
but
That cat sure wants your attention.
he does.
She's a nuisance.
Well, she's Siamese. That's why.
Oh, she's pretty.
Say hi.
Nana says she's
Now
pretty.
say goodbye.
Hi. My aunt used to have a Siamese cat when I was little, and it was like a really cool cat. And as long as you were petting from head to tail, you were fine. But if you even stopped and your hand went backwards at all, you come back with a bloody stub.
No,
Like-
she's not bad. She's not bad for that, but she just wants all the attention all the time. As soon as she hears me start to talk, she knows I'm talking to people, and she wants my attention. And she
Our
goes,
little
Crack.
dog is that way. Our little Jack Russell Shih Tzu cross boss dog, he's that way. I get on a live and he's like obsessed. He's got to be all over me. Oh, what do we got? We got sriracha.
See my baby right here.
I seen him in your live when I watched your replay.
Well, that's my little girl.
Ah,
She's only 110 pounds. She thinks
Yeah.
she's a
"Hello."
lab.
what are you gonna do with that sriracha? You gonna put that on your Coke Zero?
I'm gonna put it on my eggs and rice.
Oh,
So Mitchell, you told me the doctor made you change your diet. My doctor already told me I need to start staying away from carbs because
So-
carbs, he said, will make your knee swell.
So yeah, any kind of carbs will make your knee swell.
Yep.
So my doctor, I can only have 70 grams of meat a day.
Is that-
Yes, Dale was telling me that because you're
Because of my gout.
yeah.
Yeah. So I eat a lot of rice now, and a lot of vegetables, and I can't have any real sugar. The only sugar I can have is if it comes from a fruit naturally, and I get it directly from it. So like strawberries, bananas, apples, I can have all of those I want, but I
So you can't have candy at all.
Right.
What about a honey?
I don't know, but I'm not giving up honey. They can kick rocks for honey. Honey is I'm like the Pooh Bear with honey.
Well, see, that's one of the things I'm thinking is there's always so much positive stuff said about honey, and it's all natural. It's not nothing, you know.
So my favorite snack of all time is peanut butter because I can have all the peanut butter I can eat too, is what they said, because it's a peanut is a good protein that I can eat. But I like peanut butter, honey, and put it in cinnamon. And I used to like it on bread, but now I just have to eat it with a spoon.
But I have a question, Dale. You know, you saw the thing Tony put out today about his chocolate
Brownies.
where you have sugar, and you said about Splenda. I wonder if you can substitute honey,
You could.
but
Yeah,
then
you
it
can.
wouldn't be a dry mix anymore, or would you have to put that in when you put your
Well,
wet
you add them when you're making it to bake.
to bake
You
it?
add that ingredient.
I just wondered about that. He never didn't say anything about that, and I thought, well, that would be a natural.
The
Sure.
problem that you can run into with honey sometimes is it's really going to change the texture of that brownie.
And
Really?
it doesn't take as much honey to get something sweet.
That's right.
It takes very little, so you would have to maybe put a little bit more flour in it to make up for it.
Yeah, you have to adjust for the extra liquid.
Which is fine. I mean, that's me years ago. Like, if you watch some of my cooking videos and Lisa and I's cooking videos, you'll see this old pickle jar sitting on top of our stove,
Mm-hmm.
and it has this brown liquid in it. Well, that's honey, and it's local honey. The guy gives me in a great big gallon jug, or so we just refill that pickle jar. That's my preference in coffee. So instead of sugar or anything, I like putting a couple spoonfuls of honey in my coffee and then milk.
I don't drink coffee with sugar in it, or with milk in it. Just black coffee is.
I'm just not that old yet.
You know,
I'm not that grown up yet.
Well, maybe it's just black coffee, and that's matter of fact, it was funny. We were watching some. Ginger was giving Starbucks away, and I said, you can't. Starbucks don't know what black coffee is. You go in and say, I want black coffee. Look at you like, what? We don't know what that is.
They call it something. They call it something too.
What do they call it? I'm trying to remember what they do call it.
I call
my
it.
problem is I go into Starbucks, and I'm the guy that, I've become a little valley girl. I want all the unicorns and rainbows in it, man. I want all the sweet cream. I want all the foam. I want latte. I want it to be like ice cream in a cup that's hot.
I don't go in Starbucks.
My son likes to drink canned cold coffee. It's like, what? Iced coffee? What? That's not coffee.
Yeah, I'm not into iced coffee either.
No, that's not. That sounds.
Nana really likes iced coffee.
Hey, hang on a second.
Hot and black as you can get it.
Well, so it's funny. I don't drink black coffee, but my 20-year-old, that's the only way he'll drink it is black.
But he's not drinking espresso, is he?
No. Well,
I can't stand espresso because
he doesn't mind.
No, I have the black coffee with a little bit of sugar in it.
So the other day I took Landon to Dutch Bros, which is a coffee place kind of like Starbucks, and we got this. It's the caramelizer. It's like an ice cream coffee, really, is what it is. And I like black coffee. I don't like the old dolled up coffee. But this caramelizer, I love caramel. I could get addicted to those. Really easy.
That doesn't really fit in your diet either, there, old son.
No.
You want to know what's good in coffee?
What's that?
Vanilla. Baking vanilla.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Cream.
So we have one of those great use stickers from our
Oh, you
friends.
lucky
Lazy
That's
Daisy.
what I started using, and
And
it
I'm
is
telling you, you put it
amazing.
in with coffee. Everybody talks about French vanilla.
Oh, it's amazing.
It blows that away. I mean,
Yeah.
this is amazing. That vanilla in coffee.
Just a teaspoon of it in your cup
Oh,
of coffee,
I'd like
and
to
it
try it.
is fantastic.
The best coffee in the world comes from Panera Bread, and it is just their hazelnut black coffee.
See, I don't like hazelnut.
That's because you are a nut.
That must be right because I don't like hazelnut.
I got addicted to hazelnut coffee when I was in Germany the last time.
Radio
Absolutely love
Jonesy, caffeine is good in coffee.
Yep.
It's got to have caffeine for me. I
Or don't drink
that.
it. I can drink warm water and get the same results.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't go with that decaf stuff. Nope.
No,
We,
decaf coffee is just brown water.
Yep.
My grandpa's. I like my grandpa's coffee too. He called it cowboy coffee because you never knew if you were going to get grains in it or not.
Hey, coffee
Oh,
walks,
look,
whatever.
speaking about coffee and who pops in, coffee
Yep.
walks and whatever.
And his better half is Debbie. They watch my channels. And they're leaving all kinds of comments.
Decaf is dirty water.
That's what I said. That's dirty water.
Yep. Filter that out and use it to make some regular coffee.
Braden and I both, we're really into Black Rifle coffee. Like Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a good company, for good things. And when I was in Savannah, Georgia, they had a Black Rifle coffee shop like a Starbucks or whatever. And it was awesome in there. Like really good. But Black Rifle Coffee does a lot for Wounded Warrior Project and stuff like that. That's
We get coffee from San Diego. There's I can't remember the place it's called out there. A friend of ours has this coffee company right next door to them. They grind the coffee, come up with all these flavors, and they had a raspberry coffee, and that was good. They had it last Valentine's Day. I don't know if they have it this year or not, but it was a raspberry flavor, and I like raspberries, so we got some raspberry coffee. It was pretty good.
Hi there, Josh. Yeah, raspberry. So, when we were at Ozarks Homesteading Expo, there was a coffee company there, a small farm coffee company called Shepherd's Crook Coffee Company. That was really good too. It was really good. And they're not big in this platform, but they're big in other social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look them up, you can find them, and they have an online store. They're kind of a local company to our area, Jerry. So
I'll have to check them out then.
We were in the middle of filming when we got Mitchell's notification, and I couldn't stop in the middle of what I was doing to come pop in and say hi. So I got
filming.
Well, and I knew you were there. That's why I just texted you, said whenever you get time.
Yeah.
So what were you filming? You give us a little hint or not?
Oh, I know what it is.
I put out a short last night that gives you a clue.
Oh, okay, I'll go look at the short then.
I checked out some of your shorts too. I seen you were trying to do some shorts also.
I've done some shorts. Susan does shorts. She likes to take the phone and go out to someplace in the yard where the goats are at and do a little short. And then she'll email it to me and say, post that. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think Mitchell's the same. I think that must be the girl thing, because I know Mitchell's channel is kind of the same way. His wife likes to do the short things, and now Nana has her own channel. So
I've been posting shorts on there.
I didn't know Nana had her own channel.
Yeah, Nana 9 Acres.
Well, I'm gonna have to go find it and subscribe to it then.
Bye, Jonesy. Sorry,
Dale,
That's why I was waving.
a moderator, right? I think Lisa is too on her channel in here.
I am, but if I go to your chat out of this, it's gonna be like really bad.
Okay.
Well, I know
Internet.
Nana's a moderator on mine. I made her moderator during the fire hall
Yep.
live.
I can be there in a minute. I'm making some
She's
cleaner.
she's making a homemade cleaner right at this second. She'll be right here.
So if I see a puff of smoke over there, we know she makes the wrong chemicals.
No, she's doing it all natural.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Orange pills and vinegar.
White vinegar.
And now she'll let it steep
Let it set for 2 weeks.
Come on.
weeks and then she'll have it. Howdy, 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 Mark at Little Ridge Farm.
What's up, Mark? So, if anyone hasn't heard, Mark's house did burn down. He has some things up on his channel where you can go to donate if you want to donate. If you have the extra stuff to donate,
Hey,
if you go check out his channel, he has all the links up on in his about page. I think it is. But
hey, Mark, I got your card that I was going to send you today, and I'm going to send it to the address I have. So I got those cards I told you I was going to get you.
I think Chef actually had to go a little bit ago. So Dale, so for everybody that just come in, Chef and I are going to be doing a hot candy live stream together. And I was telling Chef earlier when he was in here, my goal is to make Chef to get a drink before me.
So make the chef drink before you?
Yeah.
That's a pretty tall goal.
Well,
I think they're going to run out of candy.
yeah, because I am not getting a drink if that's going to be the deal before we start.
Sorry, my little table was falling apart underneath my computer. I had to grab it and put the leg back underneath it.
Oh, you did, Mark?
So is that candy approved for you to be eaten, though, Mitchell?
Probably not, Jerry. But that doesn't stop me from doing it.
You know, I'm a stickler. If the doctor tells you you're not supposed to eat it, I'm going to be on you.
Well, you can be on me. I'm still going to eat them.
Well,
I ordered these. I ordered these at the beginning of December. Whenever Chef brought them up in a live stream, it says he was gonna, he's gonna eat them, but he's looking for someone to eat them with him. I ordered them then, and I got them January 24th. It took them that long to come in from Amazon.
yeah.
What's up,
Hey,
Glenn and
there's
Jessica?
Glenn or Jessica.
Jessica.
What up, Adrian? Adrian!
Susan was really worried about Gathered Together Homestead. She hadn't seen any videos go out. And she says, well, I don't know what's going on with them. I said, I don't know. So I emailed them. Hey, are you guys okay?
We were too. I'm like, where you guys been? I thought maybe that she'd hatched. Like the oven timer went off.
But isn't she due, or is it yours due April 4th?
Hers is.
Yeah, you still got a little ways to go. Yours is June
1st.
June something. Isn't
Our
it?
granddaughter's June 1st.
Right. See, I keep track of those things. Actually, Susan and I were talking about it this morning. That's why.
That's just a
April
baby
4th.
back there. That's
That's
Hank.
pretty close to my birthday.
Yep.
Well, I have the best birthday in the whole world. April 27th or April 17th.
Nah,
I'm an Aries.
It happens before that. Just letting you know.
No. Diamonds
March
are
19th.
forever, and they're the most precious thing in the world. And
The 17th is 2 days after tax day.
I know.
You're a tax.
What do you
baby.
do after tax day? You go spend that money because the government told you you had to.
We have 2 people in our family with April birthdays.
My stepdad's. So it's pretty much everybody except my kids. So my dad's is October 17th, My dad's twin brother is obviously October 17th. My grandma.
Are you
is-
sure about that?
You can't say
Well,
that because he could be one could be born before midnight, one could be born after midnight.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
ideally it would be, but like my grandma, my grandpa was there. Everybody was born on the 17th. My aunts, my dad's sisters, both of their birthdays are on the 17th of different months, obviously, but it's kind of
What's the date of today?
Huh?
The 5th. In 2 days, I will be after putting out videos for my back step for 2 years, which is
Mine,
pretty cool.
mine's easy to remember when my 2-year anniversary or when my YouTube anniversary is. It's my wedding anniversary.
really?
Better not mess that up.
So everybody, I am the only.
anniversary. Your wife, the man. No wonder she's always throwing stuff at you.
Well, it was kind of weird because my kids had they went to my in-laws for the evening because my wife and I were going out, and beforehand, my wife's like, she said something, and I was like, well, you know, maybe one of these days I'll start recording something on YouTube. And she's like, well, why don't we just do one now? So she recorded me walking around feeding everything before we went out to dinner for our anniversary. It was our first YouTube video.
Let's
No.
see.
That's
Dale,
great.
why do you keep muting yourself? Is Nana yelling at you or something?
Probably.
You hear it?
Well, she's probably telling Dale how much she loves me and she dismisses me.
Oh,
Dale just doesn't want everybody to hear it.
You don't hear it. Okay.
Actually, Nana was coughing, and I didn't want it to blast out everyone's eardrums.
It won't hurt here.
Gonna say Al's wearing headphones. It'll blow him out.
Sudden loud noises can be painful.
That's one of the channels that I watch a lot of. Like I was watching them before I ever started. They're having audio problems, and like during the middle of their video, all of a sudden it'll be like crack, 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 super loud. And they actually put a warning on the first of their video. If you use earbuds, turn volume down extremely.
Hey,
You mentioned that. I did a video on the cows leaving, and here's my camera, and that little windsock, that makes such a big difference. It's hard to, to me, it's like, really, come on, did it really make that much difference? Well, Susan started it, a video, we were putting cow things out, she had it. Well, somehow she brushes against her leg and it fell off. So in the middle of the video, we kept recording, or she kept recording, and you can actually hear a complete sound difference. And I found it. I walked by and here it is. And she said, how'd you find it? I saw it just walking right here is where it came off. Put it back on and finished recording. And man, what I'm telling you, I would never have thought it made that much of a sound difference.
oh, huge, drastic difference.
Yeah.
Hey, so I told you I've been redoing machines, Dale.
I remember you told me.
This is one of the cabinets. This is one of the control cabinets that I've been redoing. That's what it looked like whenever I started. And if I ever come across it looking different than it does now,
You're gonna throttle somebody. Oh my
That
gosh!
looks really good now.
man,
Man,
I'm going to fire somebody. I'm not going to throttle somebody. I'm going to fire them on the spot.
You
But
sure
yeah.
took a lot of copper out.
Yeah, I did. So we actually did 2 500 MCM pairs over to another area. And I don't know if you guys have ever picked up a foot of 500 MCM cable, but it weighs like 14 pounds per foot. And we had to run 600 feet in 3 pairs. Well, we pulled all the old stuff out. That there was absolutely nothing wrong with, but the boss said that it had to be changed, so we changed it. And we bought everybody a steak dinner in the maintenance department with the scrap that we sent out.
Scrap.
Yeah.
Eh,
And we still had money left over. I bought some tools for the shop too with.
Wow.
But yeah,
don't know.
so at work when I do things like this, or we do pull out old wire, it goes into a big copper or whatever kind of metal, conductive metal it is. It goes into that kind of hopper, and then with that money, we do something for the maintenance department with.
it's pretty cool.
Because maintenance guys are treated like redheaded stepchilds in a plant because we are not considered.
Production.
We are considered overhead. Yeah, we are considered overhead right out the gate. But they have to have us.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'm not really classified as a maintenance guy. I'm classified as an engineer. That's why I look
Engineer
like.
is maintenance.
Engineers.
Well, not.
Engineers are those people that my guys don't like.
Oh yeah, that's because all
That's
John Deere
mechanical
engineers
engineer.
had their head up their rears.
It ain't just John
Mechanical
Deere. I've worked for
engineers.
every brand.
Hey, I had a John Deere combine, and to change one belt, I had to remove 6 of them to put one belt on, a new belt on. So I know, but I also had gleaners, and they're not nearly as bad.
Must have been
So-
like 7,700, 8,800, 8,820, 6,600, 6,620,
Probably
4,400.
4,400, all that
They're
same
just as
series.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was it was older.
freaking
It was
horrible to work on.
Take
God,
the
it's
seed
terrible.
out and then just bury your head for a little bit, cry, and then get after it because you're going to be there for like 4 hours.
I cried
But I'm not-
afterwards. I got after it and then cried.
But I'm not a mechanical engineer. I'm an electrical engineer.
They're just as
So
bad.
That's
Engineer.
worse.
No, it's not.
You're just digging a deeper hole there, Mitchell. I'd quit while you're
All
ahead.
engineers. If you have engineer, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Quickest way to
Don't
get out of a
think
hole
about
is
me.
quit digging.
But I will say I worked as a maintenance guy for a long time, so I make it easy to work on.
That's
before I
good,
decide.
Mitchell. You're one of the good ones. You're one of the good ones. There's not a whole lot of good ones out there that think about the maintenance people. They
Well,
think about what's
because-
easiest to make it.
Well, because a lot of times I'm going to have to be the one to go work on it.
Well, they should make all engineers do those things, replace them. Because if they did
Yeah.
that, they would make things differently.
You would hope. But, yeah. You're muted, Dale. You're still muted.
I was showing Nana how to tag people on her phone. She knows how to do it on the computer, but she didn't know how to do it on a phone.
Oh,
Tag them for
The chat.
yeah.
Oh,
Put the links in.
Hey, if you guys haven't
Sorry.
checked out Thrash Life, he's got they do I don't know if anyone's familiar, but they do horse rescue stuff, and he does live streams on the weekends. I will caution people on the live streams on the weekends. They are adult conversations. So
language.
if you go on there, it's adult conversations. But the he does talk about in his regular videos the horses and stuff. So horse rescues and all the
Where's he
other stuff.
located at?
Colorado right now, but they're looking at moving. He was asking me about property here in Oklahoma the last time I talked to him. And then they were looking in a couple other places too. So, but they do. They're really involved in the horse rescue stuff. So
Let's see.
check out Little Ridge Farm. Dale probably had to go to make it look like he was helping Nana, and in all reality, Nana was probably like, "Dale, you're wrong. This is how you do it."
Yeah, probably. He took his camera down so you can't see him, so he can't embarrass himself.
Yeah.
Oh, there he's back.
Shh.
I'm listening.
Hear what I said. Now.
By the way,
Hey, listen.
she
you
never
did not
moved
hear
from
me.
right
You did
there.
not hear me. You did not hear me.
So Thrash said that they are looking more or less Idaho at the moment. You know, I don't know if I'd like to live in Idaho.
I'm going to tell you, I know he's in Colorado and he probably has a bad opinion of Kansas, but Southeast Kansas land is pretty cheap.
Well, I'm just saying for the simple fact it looks like there's a certain political person sniffing the state the whole time.
Hey, can I tell you a story?
Sure.
This will blow you guys away. 2 years ago, I got this letter in the mail, and it was from a lawyer. And when it said, would you please contact us? We want to talk to you about your land. I said, yeah, whatever. And, you know, Dale probably knows, man. Just, yeah, whatever. Just toss it aside. And my wife said, did you ever call that guy? I said, no. This was Christmas time I got it. So I called him in January. His name was, I won't even say his name, but anyways, he was a lawyer. He said, we're interested in buying 2 acres of your land. Shoot us a price. And of course, you know, I got cows and stuff. I'm not interested in selling land. So I said, yeah, $25,000 an acre. I thought that is an outrageous price. I don't care where you at. And he goes, okay. He goes, we'll send you a contract. And I said, yeah, right. You know? So I got about 3 days later, I get this letter, I get this contract, 12 pages long. And it's from him, and it says that they're offering 21,000 an acre. And, you know, they had all these things like you couldn't have a pig farm and you couldn't build anything adjacent to this property. I mean, this thing was just a standard boilerplate contract. I call the guy and said, dude, this isn't going to fly. He said, just take a pencil, mark out everything that you don't like, and write down the price, send it back to us, and we'll take care of it. I said, okay, fine. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to put down 23,000 an acre. She's okay. So I put it down there. One of my biggest fault was I did not make them put the earnest money in if they backed out in my name. Had it in their name, and I just left it. I didn't think much about it because I thought, yeah, sure, we'll see what this really happens. Well, then COVID hit. He calls me up and says, we're going to back out of the contract, and you know, because of COVID, we can't find these people. It would come to be down at Dollar General was the store that was trying to buy the property because they're trying to put Dollar Generals like every 5 to 6 miles. So I said, okay, whatever. You know, I didn't really want to sell it to begin with. But then I worked at MFA, and one of the customers came in and said, hey, I heard that Dollar General is trying to buy your property. I said, yeah. He said, well, you know the 2 acres I own down there down near Racine behind the firehouse? I said, yeah. He said, I sold it to them for $40,000 an acre. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you have to ask more money, Jerry. And I said, I thought, you know, that's ridiculous. He said, hey, here's the kicker. I sold them the fill dirt from the hill behind it to make the pad. And he said, I made about $100,000 out of the whole deal. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
I got 9 acres. Dollar General, I got 9 acres.
Here comes the kicker now. So it got canceled. Didn't think much about it. Well, I got a phone call, or actually got an email from the lawyer on the 18th of January saying they're interested in the 2 acres again. And I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I called him. And in the meantime, I'd be getting this email. I had heard one of my other neighbors around here, just like a quarter mile away, had sold them 1.6 acres for, and I didn't know how much that it was Dollar General. So I called this guy up and I said, hey, dude, what's going on? He said, well, I'm supposed to contact you again. I said, well, you know, the price has gone up. And he said, really? I said, yeah. I said, I put, you know, I put $15,000 in the grass seed out in those fields, and I put new fencing in. I did all this work to it. I said, you know, I'm not going to give it to you for that price. But what's the price? I said, 35. He said, okay, I'll send you a contract. And I said, yeah, okay, sure. I said, now hold it. What about this guy that's just down less than a quarter mile from me? Supposedly sold you guys, you know, 1.6 acres for the same store. I said, you're not going to put 2 stores less than a mile apart, right? Or it's less than a quarter mile apart. You can actually see the 2 stores of the places. He said, well, that's not happening. He goes, I'm not the one that's doing that. That guy must have a mistake. And I said, well, that's what he told me. So I called the owner on that property. And he says to me, he goes, Jerry, he goes, I got 50,000 an acre, and I sold 1.6 acres for $80,000, or 50,000 an acre. And I said, really? He said, yeah. And I've got a signed contract. And I said, well, let me ask you this. He said, did you make the same mistake I did? And the earnest money, it goes back to them if they backed out. He goes, no, I caught that and changed it to where if they back out, it goes to me. I said, so I wonder what the deal is. Why are they trying to buy two of my acres, which I really don't want to sell because I don't want. I'm kind of torn, you know. It'd be nice to have that chunk of money because then I could go buy a new home. We could put a new home on here, but then I don't really want that trash of that company, of the trash that comes out of the trash can, blowing over into my spot. But there was a thing like they would put a wooden fence around it and all this other stuff. But I just kind of like was torn. Yeah, it'd be nice, but no, it wouldn't be nice. But they were, I called the guy back, said, the price is just recently gone back up to 40,000 an acre. If you're still interested, I said, you go ahead and send me a contract, but I still like to know what the deal is with the guy across the street and down the block a little bit. So, these companies they don't care. They don't care how much it costs. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. I mean, I told him, I said, if I get a contract with for $80,000, I said, what are we going to do? She said, well, we'll just invest it back in the property.
Yep.
So, but anyway, like it just blows me away.
Crash life on the zoning in my county. There's no such thing. There's no zoning in my county.
I don't know zone in my area either. We have no zones here, no codes or any of that stuff. But I told them I wanted wooden fences around if they do it because the trash has to stay on their place.
The one large town in this county, the county seat, they have zoning within their city limits.
Right.
But the rest of the county, there's absolutely none.
Yeah, there's no zones here either. I just things have just blown me away about how people just. I mean,
there's zoning here. Well, something kind of crazy. So their pipeline came through some property that we have. They came through there, and then they used part of it as a laydown yard. So we got paid for that, and then got paid for the pipeline, and they got paid to put fences up. Then they needed to pressure test the line, but no one would sell them water. Well, there's a big old kind of like a lake, like 10-acre pond right there, and I was like, well, I'll say the water out of that thing. They bought all the water out of it, and then they didn't have anywhere to drain it. I was like, well, you can drain it back in here for a fee.
You got it coming in going.
Awesome.
That is, you got them coming in going. That's pretty good.
I made a damn killing off of that oil company.
Yeah.
Because, so they bought.
The way the Dollar Generals work is that they build them and they turn around and sell them, because they're franchised. Well, a bunch of us are standing around talking about who's buying these things. Well, come to find out that Aaron Sachs, I don't know if you guys heard of Aaron Sachs, the lawyer. He's buying every one of these Dollar Generals that's going up because he had settled. He settled some $40 million lawsuit, and he has all this money he has to invest in something. So he's going around and putting all his money in all these Dollar Generals and then hiring somebody to run them. It's like.
So something interesting. My wife and I, when we moved back to the town where I grew up, we had actually looked into buying a Dollar General because you have to go 30 miles either direction to hit any major store. So we called, and my wife and I, we were in the middle of signing everything. And then right after, so we signed everything and sent it to them. And then they sent us a letter back with a check plus 20% because that's how it was wrote up in the contract, because they are no longer selling franchises. Dollar General is buying them themselves.
Really?
Yeah. So you have to send them. So you have to have $100,000 investment money that they see right at the beginning. So we sent them that, and then they sent us it back plus 20. I think it's 25%. Yeah. Back and then they gave their whole legal reason why they couldn't do it.
Well, I tell you what,
I need to get me some land down in the States. Have a guess at what the price of an acre of land is here where I am. 1 acre.
Well, but that's kind of deceiving too. 1 acre here, like if you bought 1 acre of town land in town, you're going to spend anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000.
No,
If
this
you
is
buy-
not in town. This is out in one of the rural. I'm not even in St. John's. I'm outside St. John's.
How much?
82.5.
What is it near?
It's not near anything. It's out in the middle of nowhere actually.
So it's like
82.5.
ground.
It's just a ground to put a house on. It's not farmland or nothing like that. 1 acre encompasses from 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. They break it up into 5 lots here, and they'll sell them off for $20,000, $30,000 a piece.
Yeah,
So you're
they
not
do
getting
that
an
in
acre.
neighborhoods are. If it's in
Yeah,
a
but you're not
neighborhood-
getting an acre.
No,
Yeah,
They break the
A
1
lot.
acre up into 5.
5, yeah.
yeah,
So it's 0.2 acres per place.
yeah.
Well,
As you get closer,
I bought this probably 16 years ago, and I paid $1,200 an acre for it.
as you get closer to town, 130,000,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way here. especially-
185,000.
Yeah, you see, it's the same way here too, Al. It's all
Mhm.
dependent on how you buy it. And the more land you buy, the cheaper it gets per acre. Like
Right.
I bought 80 acres whenever I was 19 years old, and I get $300 an acre for it.
Yeah, but this is just 1 acre. That's what I'm listing
Yeah.
the prices of. One acre here on the main highway, $700,000.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that here too. It's not. It's,
Crazy. That's crazy though.
yeah,
A year ago in January, I went to California to visit. My brother-in-law passed away. It was a celebration of life. We went back to the old house, and the neighbor that we had there went over to visit her, and she said that the houses across the road just sold. And I bought the house, I don't know how many years ago, it was $97,000. And when I left there, make a long story short, I was asking $400,000. But the house across the street sold for $635,000. And I'm like, who is buying that? I mean, what kind of money do you have to make to
So
be able to pay for a house payment at $635,000? I mean,
So I went to a meeting a week ago, and it was in our county because of the housing problem. They're trying to come up with a solution because there's no housing. And these bankers and
investment group.
realtors were talking about it. And they said that no one should ever be buying a house for under $350,000. And I looked at all of them and I said, "You guys are crazy." And they looked at me and go, "Why?" I said, "Have you looked what our county average is for income?" And the local government, the economic development guy, for our county was there. And I said, "What's average wage for our county?" He said, $39,000. I said, "You're expecting someone who's making $39,000 a year to buy a house for $350,000. Well, they should never make a house payment. They should never make a house payment under. No one should ever make one under $1,500 a month. It should be more than half of their income." I looked at them and I said, "You people are living in a fantasy world."
Well, I think I know where you're going, Dale, with it, and I think a lot of them too have an unrealistic expectation of how much debt they should have. Like, you shouldn't have, and they're extending the mortgage notes now. The standard mortgage payment is not going to be 30 years. It's going to be 40 years to 45 years.
Yep, I heard that already too.
Not
Yeah.
this guy.
No, mine's 15.
I owe. Well, mine's 20. This less than 20 years left, or actually, it's 15 years now.
Ours
For
is
the
7.
halfway point.
The last one I had was for 25 years, but I paid it off and got rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, like
Well,
me
my
and-
house is paid off. My land's not paid off.
Yeah. Now see so you get in a whole different thing when you start talking
Yeah.
about buying land for like you're doing, as a large farm ground piece of equipment.
Yeah, but you got to
Um,
figure out that if you can't make the money off that land in 15 years that you put into land, then it's not worth it. You're not. It's
and that's
you're,
the problem we're up against is we got all these people that have made money, investment, anything like that. They've hit oil, they've built housing developments around some large metropolis, and then they come in here to our ground, and of course they want to go after these things.
right.
That's all they sit around and watch the outdoor channel, and that's all they think about. And they see that ground and they see our big deer, and they're like, oh, that's cheap, I'm gonna buy it. And it's like 3,500 an acre.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they do is they kick every farmer off of it. They won't rent it out. They won't lease
Right.
it back out to the guy who's
So it
making a
sits
living
there.
off of it.
And they don't clean it up, and they
They
don't keep anything up. It gets
No, they want it to grow
overgrown.
up in brush. And then all they do, they don't live here. So they don't understand how much it raises all of our other taxes and everything.
Well, I was talking about Aaron Sachs down just south of me, Wheaton, when he went down and bought all this land all over. He bought it, and then people were starting to sell their land. And I mean, Mennonites that I had friends of are Mennonites put up their property for sale. Aaron Sachs came in and wrote him a flat check for. I mean, I can't pay how many acres it was. It was just like it was over 250 acres. He wrote him a flat check for it. The guy picked up and said, "Well, I don't need to live here." He moved to Kansas. He goes, "I can buy a lot more land for half the price I paid here." So he moved to Kansas, and he lives up in Kansas and bought more land. And it was just
And
like,
see, their whole thinking with them on these higher dollar houses is we're essentially upside down in our tax rate here.
right,
So for our taxes we pay are extremely higher than everyone else's, and it's because we have so many houses that are selling below
Market value.
that value. Well, the problem is now you're stuck in this vicious cycle
right,
because they want it to be up here in order to make valuations, so your tax rate isn't so high, but they don't have any wages to pay anybody at that amount to afford those type of houses.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of the conversation that me and a friend of mine had the other day. We were talking about the median income for Payne County, Oklahoma, is where OSU, the University of Oklahoma State University, one of the biggest colleges in the country. Not like physically, but they're well known anyway. You know what the average income is for Payne County?
40,000.
23.
Yeah. See, it's extremely low income too.
And when you want to start getting people to buy houses, and like your house payments are going to be around $1,500. If your house payment's $1,500, how long do you think they're going to have it before they go under?
right.
Because you still got to
Not
eat.
very
long.
I mean,
Still got to eat, still got to pay insurance, still got to buy gasoline. Look at gasoline's backed up to $4 a gallon for diesel.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, yeah, it's not cost effective.
well, it doesn't
Yeah.
compute. And then you
I
get into like the
I
big
firmly
home-
believe the Dave Ramsey approach of it shouldn't be more than a quarter of your income.
Now,
Right.
I disagree, but I have some economic reasons why. I think for personal use, yes, 100%. I'm a firm believer if it's for personal use, if I can't buy it outright, then I don't buy it at all. But businesses, when you're trying to, I don't want to go into an economics class here.
Oh no.
Because, but that's how you move money around and liquidate assets and stuff like that without having the huge income tax and stuff. So there are reasons for it, yes, but we won't get into all of that.
Well,
Me and
there's
Dale has
a-
actually done that before.
There's a guy that's on here. I don't know if you guys know him. He's Back Row Freedom. Justin's his name. He's on there. I go on his last was on. He talks about he really should buy property and he has to buy property. And I said, dude, what are you waiting for? Because the older you get, the property keeps going up. You need to buy it now while it's low enough, and then when you get older, you're not being your pay is going to go up, but the property's not going to go up, and you'll be able to later on you'll have more money when you have the land, like I do. Like
there's a two-part that goes back to the economics deal. Right now is the worst time to buy a house because of what the interest rate is and what it's going to.
right.
And the purchasing, your dollar purchase value has gone down. But if you pay attention to the real estate markets and stuff like that, right now the real estate market is starting to go down. And I'm thinking around June, August area, if someone's looking to buy something, you're probably going to get a steal on it because they're already cutting prices by hundreds of $1,000s on big corporate places right now.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much you guys pay attention to the financial markets, but that's something that I really watch is the financial markets because I have some money tied up in some financial stuff that I really like to watch. So right now is not an ideal time. It's an ideal time to invest some money into, say, some stocks or some crypto. I made a really good investment in about mid-January that has tripled in price, and I just sold. So you just kind of have to really watch the markets and see when the right time is to buy them. You can't just do it on a whim like a lot of people do, and then in 2 years when the housing market crashes, they lose their job and everything. They can't sell the house for the money that it is truly worth today versus what it was when I bought the house.
True.
Like they always saying, the people aren't making the money there, as much money as he was. They talk about raising the base price for people, and I keep thinking, what is wrong with people? You raise the people who work at McDonald's and Taco Bell and all that. You raise them to $15 an hour. When I worked at MFA, I was only making $17 an hour. So and that was of course a year and a half ago. So you're gonna have to raise my pay up equivalent to their raise is going to be.
No, they won't.
And then everything goes. If price is going to go up, a hamburger is going to cost you $25 for just 2 burgers.
It's already almost there.
It's going that way, and that's exactly why, Jerry.
Yeah, but it's going to end up. People are going to start saying, you know what, I'm not paying that. I'm going to stay home, and then all these businesses are going to start closing down because they're paying their employees too much. They can't pay them. Because they're not going to be able to sell the burgers and stuff, people aren't going to buy them.
The thing that bothers me so much is the self-checkout at Walmart. Now our gas stations are starting to get self-checkout in them, and they're replacing employees with all these machines.
Okay, so I just had to sit through a 4-day conference about this. So I do have some insight on this that I do kind of find relevant to where you're going. Is so they're calling it the 4th Industrial Revolution, right? That's what all your major autonomous stuff is going to the 4th Industrial Revolution. So it's not about replacing; it's about coexisting with things that don't get tired, don't get sleepy. And I understand it, but at the same time, by doing it, you have to increase wages in the people that are still there, because if you don't, you can't pay for the equipment, right? Because to automate things like self-checkouts, there's tons of stuff. That's There's tons of stuff that's automated that people just don't pay attention to. And
Okay, Mitchell, I'm gonna stop you there. Let's think about this though. If you go to you sit there and you're checking out your groceries or at Walmart, and then you say, okay, I've checked it all out, and then you walk to the door, and the person stops you there, and then stands there and looks at all the stuff you bought and checks everything you bought. What's the purpose? Have that person check me out, so when I walk out, I can walk right out the door. I refuse to use a self checkout. I walk in the store, I go grocery shopping, I walk up there, and a woman say, "Well, you can go self checkout." I said, "No, are you giving me 10% off my groceries?" And she goes, "Well, no, then I'm not checking myself out. Get an employee up here to check me out." And they say, "No, we're not going to do that." I said, "Okay." I try and walk away and leave the bag, the cart of groceries sit there. So get fine and walk out. They can't force you to buy them. If they're not going to check you out, that's their loss. They have to pay somebody to go back and put the groceries away. And I tell you what, I do the same thing at Lowe's when they have the self checkout. You get somebody up here to check me out because that's their job. And I used to be I worked at a grocery store for 15 years. I retired from a grocery store at 15 years in California. And there's nothing I hate worse than putting a checker out of business and then having somebody stand at the door to check them out and stop everybody from there to check them out again. That's B.
Because
so
I agree with you on.
Gary.
I agree with you on this because I was in a grocery store too, and I'm a butcher. I work in a meat department, but they put in self checkouts. They got rid of 6 cashiers. They didn't give anyone a raise.
Right.
They just put these machines in, and it's like everywhere. You know, when I punch out, I don't work for the company, so why do I have to check in my stuff?
Right.
Why am I doing a job that, you got rid of a person? Because this is how they're paying for the machines. They're not paying for the machines by giving people raises. They're paying for the machines by getting rid of cashiers.
Right.
So I agree.
If we the people let them do it and we don't push back, they're going to just keep doing it. And I'm a pusher. I will push back 110%. And I'll make their life miserable.
Mitchell, you open a can of worms now.
No, this is good. This is good conversation. Because I agree, but there's things I disagree about. Because when you used to go into Walmart before the self checkouts, how many registers were open?
2 or 3.
Okay, so how many self checkouts are open?
But here's the
2
thing.
or 3?
No.
When I used to go into the supermarket and where I worked, there was 5 cashiers on all the time. Now there's only 2 and 4 checkouts.
Okay,
Self-checkout.
I used to be a night manager. I used to run the night crew, and I started working at 5 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning. So I closed the store at night, and I had, I think we had like 8 checkouts, and I had 5 cashiers on. But if it got busy and we got more than 2 people in any line, I would call up another cashier, somebody who was stocking shelves or something, come up here and ring out people until we get the people down. And I always ran that like that. And, for 4 years, I was a night manager, and I never got robbed because I would take and close out 1 register at a time, take care of it, never had enough bunch of money to get robbed. But I ended up quitting from that, went to a school district as a buyer, and no more than, God, it couldn't have been more than 6 months. The guy I trained decided he was just going to leave all the money up there, and he got robbed. And they said, well, if we do this, people can't get robbed anymore. Well, it's
my biggest deal is I've worked in customer service before I took the job I currently am for 20 plus years. That is what they're doing away with, is customer service.
That's right.
You as a customer mean absolutely nothing to them. You as a customer, your loyalty, whether you go there or not, means nothing to them. They think that you're going to show up and use whatever they force on you for forever. And you're never, ever going to buck, as Jerry said, buck the system or be bullheaded about it. As a customer, it's your job to treat me as your customer. I'm your sale. I mean, if I was going to sell somebody a tractor, I'm not going to go, dude, you're an idiot. I'm not selling you nothing, and walk away from him. Or if you really want that tractor, you'll just go out there and you'll get it yourself and leave me a check on the desk.
Right.
No, I
Right.
agree with that 100% because that's what my wife, she does customer service. She I don't know what they call them, but she runs the whole front registers and all that crap. But people have just become so disrespectful too. Like she'll call
I
me
agree.
and she'll just be like, I can't believe this guy just came up and
Absolutely.
talked to me this way for no reason.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. People are nasty.
And I think a lot of it has to do. This is going to sound really bad, but it's not how it sounds. It's the idea, right? But no one is raising their kids with Christian values. And I'm not saying you have to be a Christian to have the values. I'm just saying the principles. Be
You can
kind
leave
to
the
one
Christian
another.
out of it and just say no
It's
one's
common
raising children with
decency.
values. No
Right.
one's
It's
raising
common
children
decency is what
with
it is.
respect or values or morals, for that matter.
Right.
And it goes
And-
back to what you did the other day, Dale. The participation awards.
Bingo.
Everybody
yeah.
gets to participate. They should never have done that. Society told them that was a bad idea when they did it, but we have to make everybody feel well. Everybody has to feel good. Everybody has to feel like they've won something. BS. There's winners and there's losers in the world. And you have a choice in the matter. Either you can be a winner or you can be a loser.
It's almost a cliche to even bring up the subject, but in my day, who was the greatest basketball player there was?
Jordan.
Jordan, hands down,
Jordan,
right?
yeah.
Michael Jordan
Well,
was.
In my day, it was a little something sooner, but
It might have been Pistol Pete.
Larry
in
Bird.
your day,
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Larry
or
Bird.
Larry Bird.
Well, I worked in an athletic store, and it was Jordans were the most expensive stuff you could buy.
But
No, before
Jordan.
Jordan, it would have been Larry Bird, though.
yeah,
well,
Will Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Will
Big
Chamberlain. They're the same era.
Common deal. I know this has been talked about a whole bunch, but let's talk about that with Jordan. Jordan was what? He was cut as a player. He didn't make the cut. He didn't get an award like everybody else. Guess
That's
what?
right.
Guess what he did when he come back, though? He went home.
Well, yeah.
He worked hard so that he could be that winner, and it stayed with him for the rest of his life. If you guys watch that special that ESPN put out with all those guys that played with him, they said till the last day he was there was no one that outworked him in the gym. There was no one that was going to outwork him on the court. He was going to win at all costs. That's how you make winners.
That's right.
That's how you make people who are highly successful, is by making them face adversity.
Making them work for it.
They have to work for that. And so by giving every little kid, here's Johnny, here's you a trophy, even though you came in 30 minutes after everybody else. And I'm not I'm not talking about physical limitations or anything like that. I'm not a heartless dude. Don't get me wrong. But what
I am.
Well,
you want to know what's really, really bad about where you're going with this whole story?
What?
I worked in retail sales for 10 years. I had to work my behind off to get an assistant manager position. I had to put in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then all this stuff started changing. People were walking in off the street a month later. They were giving them an assistant manager. I'm like, I had to work for 5 years to get this position. You're just handing it out to everybody now?
Well, so we
Right?
same way. We live it here.
Yeah.
Nana, my wife, she works at her job, and she's been there 10 years. And if they hire somebody new off the street tomorrow,
Get the same pay.
they make the exact same money she makes.
Yeah.
The same benefits, everything.
And that would be your better half, right, Dale?
Yes.
That's what we talk about, the better half.
So
The prettier
what
part of
you're-
it.
So I worked as a maintenance guy for a long time, knowing the stuff that I know now for a very long time. I left, and the people that are in charge of the plant where I work at now called me and asked me to come back because of my work ethic and because of the things that I know, right? That's how it's supposed to work. There was a new guy that just hired on the other day. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, when do I get my office?" It's like, when you learn how to work on stuff.
That's the problem.
I don't have to have a filter like the supervisors do because I'm technically not a supervisor. So I get to be as mean as I want.
Well, when I was working at MFA, yeah, I was making $15 an hour as a truck driver, and I was the custom applicator, the sprayer, the repairman, the electrician. I did all that stuff, right? They hired a truck driver, and they try to tell you don't talk about what you make, don't talk what everybody else makes. Well, you know what, people talk.
Mm-hmm.
The guy comes in and he's making $17 an hour. And they said, "Jerry, we want you to train this guy." And I find out that he's getting $17 an hour. We want you to train him to replace you. I looked at him and say, "Are you kidding me? He makes $2 more an hour than I do. Why would I want to train him? Why should I take my time to train him to do what I do? He's making only $2 more an hour." "Oh, well, well, we'll give you a $2 raise." I said, "Fine, you can give it to me. I'll tell you right now, my days are numbered."
I had that happen.
And then
I had that happen to me. I was working in a place, and they hired a guy to come in and manage it. And he used to come in and look at me and say, "What do we got to do today?" And I looked at him in square in the face. I said, "They're paying you the money. Well, you should be telling me."
Yeah.
Right? This is like, and he just looked at me. He was like,
I used to work for before I went to work for MFA. Since I retired, he's asked me to come back to work for him 3 times. At $20 an hour. And I said, "Well, no, I'm retired now. I'm not going to go to work. I don't want to go to work. I want to stay on my property and do my own thing. I don't want to be working for you or anybody else."
So yep.
But it happens all over the place because people.
No.
I said to him, I said, "Why are you paying this guy $17 an hour to come to work as a truck driver?" "Well, we can't hire anybody at $12 an hour." I went, like, really? There's nobody come to work. Nobody wants to work.
That's not a lie. That is 100% truth because I am involved in hiring people, and everybody thinks that they are worth the money that I make, and they have.
Nobody wants to start at the bottom.
No.
Well, no, they want to start at the top.
Right.
Yeah, I started in as a maintenance guy, and I started out at $16.22 an hour, and within 2 years, I became the team lead on my shift and one of the top maintenance guys in the plant, right? And then I left there years afterwards to another higher paying job because I had the experience, and they came and asked me to come to work for them. It's not that I was going out looking. Someone left and said, "Hey, you really need to hire this guy." So they called me and had me come over for an interview. I've only applied for one job my entire life, and I think a lot of it has to do with work ethic. People have always come back and asked me to go to work for them, or, "Hey, can you come back to work?" And so this last place where I'm working at now, they called me and asked me to come to work for them, and they sat down and asked me, "What is it going to take to get me to come there?" And whatever I told them, they wrote down on the paper. There was nothing in the middle like, "Oh, we're gonna have to work this out." I told them I wanted X amount of vacation. They wrote it down on the paper. I told them I wanted X amount of pay. They wrote it down on the paper, and they'll know.
You're good at what you do.
Well, yeah, and I think
you're good at what you do, and if you're good at what you do, then you should be rewarded for it.
That's right.
But then you get these new guys, like the one guy that I interviewed Thursday. He come in and he's like, "I need to start out at $45 an hour." I leaned in real close to him and I'm like, "What experience do you have?" "Well, I just got out of Votech for I think it was machining or something." And I was like, "You're worth $15 an hour to me, not 45. You're a $15 an hour guy." You can barely
Yep.
push a broom at this point in your life.
Yep.
Just my. But people.
Yeah, I was
people
laughing.
people aren't willing to push the brooms. Like,
Nope.
you know how much money they're paying me? The other day, the boss came up to me and he's like, "Hey, man, you. I've noticed because it's a new. He's the VP of the company. He's new, and I've only worked for him for like 6 months. He came up to me. He's like, "Man, every time that you're done with your job and you go home for the day, you sweep and you put everything up." I was like, "Dude, you know how much you're paying me? I should look like a professional when I do it."
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I tell my students when they're like, well, why can't I wear a hoodie? Well, because you are paid to be a professional. Professionals don't wear hoodies with their shirt untucked and have a pair of their Farmer Freds hanging on their side. We're not building fence. We're working on $100,000 tractor here.
Yeah, people
Give you
have no. People have that. They don't have that sense of pride of what they're working on or what they're doing for a living anymore. They just want to go out and make a paycheck and come home.
That's right.
My grandpa told me if I didn't give 110% of what I was doing, then I don't need to do it at all. And I stick pretty. I do. I try to do the best I can, and I always try to do better the next time. Right.
That's right.
And I think
who has the blame for it is our society. Is to blame for it because we let this stuff happen. And
Good to see you, Heather.
then when you stand up and you make a fuss about it because it's happening, you're the problem. You're the problem. You're not a team player because you're telling them this is stupid or this is too much. You're paying this person too much. You're a problem. It's like our society letting this stuff happen.
I'm all about being an advocate. I'm all about being an advocate for your child if your child is wrong. But what a lot of people view as wronged is not wrong.
No.
Me as an educator, making sure that your kid is respectful to whoever they talk to, they follow directions, they do as what is asked of them is not tyranny.
no,
it's
not
not.
by any stretch of the imagination.
But
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
you're one of a very, very few teachers that do that. It's just they don't happen anymore.
So we live in a really small community. There's, and I can honestly say, for the most of Landon's friends, their parents are a lot like I am. Maybe they don't have the chores to do or stuff like that, but their parents still raise them with you don't disrupt an adult when adults talking. You don't speak unless spoken to. That's a big one of mine. Like, I don't like to be in the middle of an adult conversation with another person and then a kid come up and be like, "Oh yeah, blah, blah." It's like, I'll backhand you. My mom would have knocked the living fire out of me.
Yep.
I mean, now would I hand my kid? No. I just have to snap my fingers and just go and point away, and they know it's like, okay, this isn't my conversation. It's not that I'm being mean to them. It's just you got to learn the pecking order of things, and you're not up here where I'm at. You're down here.
But see,
My wife worked.
you know what, Mitchell? You know that because you're on a farm and you've seen it with the animals, and you know pecking order. All animals have a pecking order, and it's the same thing. But you go into the city, there's no pecking order no more.
No.
It's just a bunch of ants running around doing whatever they think they can get away with.
I don't think it's even like ants. Ants have more order than my
Right.
That right?
It's just a free for all. It's just a free for all for everything. Is
Hey, what are you doing?
everybody's right all the time. No.
He's gonna be a miner.
You going coal mining or what?
Yeah.
He's going out to take care of his dog, his coon dog.
I just seen him. I thought I'd give him a hard time. No, I agree with you guys. There's no, and then what's bad is, so like when you get so I've done a lot of studying on this, but you get in like your inner cities, and you don't have the things for kids to stay entertained with, and to me that's just such a crock that they don't have things to do. My mom, I say this jokingly to some people, and they laugh, but like when I say how poor I was, my mom would cut holes in my pocket so I'd have something to play with. I'm joking, but I'm serious. We'd go out in the pasture, we'd find something to do, and if we were bored, we got to build fence.
You know how many
But-
acres of ground I worked behind a broken down antique tractor sitting in a fence row with a stick behind it? I had
Yeah, but-
imagination. I would sit there for hours
Dude,
and
I
work
would-
on the tractor and pretend I was working ground, you know?
we had a 53 Chevy pickup out in the there was an old bunch of cars set out in my neighbor's place, and I could go out there and play around. I could go out there and send that thing, and man, I was a spaceship operator, you know. I was just sitting there, just doing all kinds of stuff. But if my kids don't have a phone, they are completely
Bingo.
lost.
The big cardboard boxes off of things.
Oh,
Yeah, same thing. Except we had old rusty trucks, so you probably get tetanus out.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
going anywhere where there was used cars that were abandoned and stuff was a luxury for me. But we used to get the old cardboard boxes and make houses and everything out of them.
What we were talking
Mhm.
about this, and what's kind of funny about it is whenever we moved to this place, I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, we're gonna cancel cable TV," and she looked at me. She's like, "But you like to watch like the History Channel and the Military Channel." I was like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." I was like, "I don't have to watch TV. We didn't ever have the TV we had when I was a kid. You had to get out and move the antenna to get another channel." Like, so I'm perfectly fine with it, and the reason why we did it is keep the kids out of the house when it's nice. Yeah, so like today was nice. My girls were out giving horses baths and doing all kinds of stuff. Landon stayed the night at a friend's house, and they were out goofing around until I went and picked them up. But kids got to be kids, and by being kids, they did a study, which is kind of weird. So a like on Facebook or YouTube or whatever is like taking a hit of a drug. It sends dopamine to your brain, and it lets you get that instant gratification. There's tons of studies. I'm not going to cite all the studies. You guys can look them up. So I have not been really big on letting the kids have Facebook or things like that because of it. Because I don't want them to have that self gratification because I didn't get or be depression.
no,
or
there's
they can-
lots of research. I agree 100% with you.
Mhm.
So
Hey,
I think.
I'll be right back. I'll keep listening.
All right, Jerry. I think there needs to be a little less of these and more. Like I think COVID. All the bad things there was about COVID. The good thing is how much it brought families closer together during that time, right? Which I wasn't one of the ones that got to stay home, but my kids did. They couldn't go do activities. They couldn't go do this. We were literally going 5 out of 7 days a week to a sporting event, to a horse show, to something. I mean, every day of the week we were going. And I think COVID slowed all of that down where we got to spend more time with one another. And I think it helped. And I think that's what needs to happen today in overall society is you need to spend more time as a family, sit down at the dinner table and eat dinner together, see what your kids really want, and maybe not give them all the things that they want, but what they need.
Yeah, like Lisa said, talk to your kids. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny. You talk to your preteens and teenagers, and you actually get to know them. Now, that doesn't mean you're not best friend. You're still mom and dad.
Right. Well, and that gets to another thing too, Dale. And I think you have to know the difference of when to be a parent and when to be a friend.
Agree.
Now you can keep going. I just want to throw that in before you got too far.
But what I'm saying, it's so funny that if you actually are intertwined and talk to them and find out what's going on, like you say, when can I be a friend? When can I be a parent? And that all of a sudden this whole world opens up, and now you no longer have problems with, I got to sneak out. so and so, is going to have this or going to go do that, and I need to figure out a way to get away from mom and dad. Instead, all of a sudden, it's, hey, what do you guys? Do you think I could go do that? Do you think can I go over to so and so's house? Can I, Well, when you start putting two and two together about what they're wanting to do, well, how about you get your buddy and let's go to the lake. Let's go
fishing.
Let's go
something.
fishing. Let's the 3 or 4 of us, or as a family, let's go to the racetrack, or the car racetrack, or let's go to a park and play a round of frisbee golf, or something like that.
Well, and two,
I'm a
think
firm believer. My kids showed pigs, and they were in the show barn continuously. They were either working with them or we were at a show. And I know exactly what Mitchell's talking about. We were busy. We were running all the time. But let me tell you, I knew where my kids were at.
They weren't getting
Yeah.
in trouble.
They weren't getting into trouble. The trouble they got into, I was probably involved with somehow.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Probably.
Ahead of it.
and I think too,
Probably
Dale,
the instigator of.
Yeah, probably.
well, and two, like Landon the other day, Landon got punched in the eye, right? And everybody's all, blah, you talking a bunch of stuff. My wife, she was really upset, and I'm sitting here talking to Landon, and it didn't bother me. And my wife's like, this doesn't bother you? And I was like, Nina, you got to let a boy be a boy. If he gets punched in the face, maybe he shouldn't run his mouth so much. Or I don't know what the case was that
Or
happened.
learn how to back it up if he does.
Well, it wasn't even that. They're best friends. They were just horsing around. They were just goofing off. That wasn't the case. And what happened? It's like they're more like brothers. These boys are more like brothers, right? And the dad called me all upset, and I'm like, dude, it's fine. It is what it is, But my wife was so upset because someone punched Landon and cut his eye open where you could see the bone, and I was like, We'll put it. We'll glue it back together. He'll be all right. And she was like, "You got to let them be boys."
When Braden was little, he had this boy that picked on him all the time, and he would come home crying. And I got to where I told him, "You come home one more time crying about this kid, and I'm going to whoop your butt."
You take care of the
I don't care
problem.
if you're at school. If he's hitting you, punch him back. You're not going to be in trouble when you get home. You have to protect yourself.
So
he laid the kid out, and he got in trouble at school, but he wasn't in trouble when he got home, and the kid quit picking on him.
Well, and
now,
that's
if
exactly
he would have been
what-
the instigator,
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's what I've always told my kids. Like Landon's got in trouble a couple times because of his sisters, which I will not get in trouble. None of my kids will ever get in trouble for standing up for their brother or sister. It will not ever happen.
Right.
And you don't mess with Landon's sisters. He might be able to, but you're not going to be able to. I mean, and that's
That's
to me, that's the way it should be.
That's the way our kids were. And I'm going to
I
tell
mean-
you something else. It followed my youngest, Rooster. It followed him to college. One of the girls on his team had some issues with a guy. She ain't got no more issues with that guy.
Well, but
Because
so that leads
Rooster
to
and his
another
buddy, neither one of them put up with disrespecting a woman in any way, shape, or form.
Good
They
for
just
him.
went and addressed the issue,
deal.
Good for
Well,
him.
and that leads to another deal that I find, and I know a lot of people are not going to want to talk about this, but toxic masculinity. What the hell is that about? You want I want my son to be what they consider toxic masculine. I mean, I want him to be that way, because that's the way that I was raised to be. But that's not being disrespectful to women. That's being respectful to women. That's, if a woman falls or needs to help changing a tire, I'm not going to not teach my daughters how to change a tire. But I want my son to stop and be like, hey, I'll change that tire for you. Because I would want someone to do that for my mom.
Bingo.
I would want and to me that makes no sense that they're saying it's bad to be toxic masculine. When then I had to figure out what they were talking about because it made no sense to me. And I was just like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not about. I still don't quite understand what they're considering toxic masculine, however you say it, because it's stupid. I don't agree with it.
But, part of the problem, is like Dale, like you said, you're sent to care of the problem like that. Well, in California, now I know it's a completely different country, but in California, if you were the one trying to take care of the problem, you were the one that got in trouble.
Oh, I know.
So, like for instance, we left California because the neighbor I had was a drug dealer. I mean, and I'm not pulling any punches. He was a drug dealer. He had guys coming and going all hours of the night. I used to work, like I said, from 5 o'clock till 2 o'clock. So I go home, get in bed 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, at 6:30, 7 o'clock, the car would pull up in front of my house, park in front of my bedroom window, get out, leave the car running, and walk over it and go to the drug dealer's house to get drugs. He'd come back and get in the car and he'd drive off. An hour later, he'd be back. Well, and I told Susan, in the middle of the summertime, it was pissing me off, because he's waking me up. So I went out with an ice pick and punctured all 4 tires on his truck. He come out and he goes, "What happened?" I said, "You parked the truck in front of my house. I'm going to puncture your tires." I said, "If you don't like it, you can go to police." "Well, I'll give you the phone here. I'll dial them for you." They go, "Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you." I mean, no, he was full of drugs. He didn't want to get caught. Well, then the drug dealer one night was hearing voices, and he come over and try to steal my truck. And he had 3 of his little hoodlum kids with him. And I say that, not driving just straight kids, but they were just trouble kids because he was on welfare and doing drugs and everything. I call the police, and the police come over and say, "Well, Mr. Butler, he's hearing voices, and so we have to, I understand he was in your truck with the kids and stuff, and he was trying to, I said, "Look, arrest him. I want him arrested." They go, "Oh, we can't do that." And I said, "That's all right. You just tell him next time he comes over on my property," I say, "all he's going to hear is a boom." I said, I'm not putting up with him. He's trying to steal my truck." They said, "Now, Mr. Butler, that's the threat. We can arrest you." I'm going like, dude, I am the victim here. He tried to steal from me, and you guys are doing nothing. That's one reason why we left California, because I was sick of it.
Yeah.
And I tell you this, and I probably told you before, if I wouldn't have left California, I would be in prison right now because I wouldn't take care of it. I would have taken him out because I was sick of it. The cops didn't do crap.
Yeah, I get in trouble because I have an opinion of, like, we have a local school here has a problem with junior high kids. Like, they are extreme boys and girls, extremely destructive. They rip down the soap dispensers and break them up. They fill the toilets plumb full of things. They put vape sensors in the bathrooms because somehow these kids' parents supply them with vapes. So they've got the bright idea. They stand on each other's shoulders and put water and smear bananas and everything and destroyed $1,500 vape sensors and stuff like that. And the problem I have is, "Oh, well, you get 2 days out of school suspension." I said, "It's $1,500. It's criminal damage of property."
Right.
Ship them to the juvenile detention center and pipe daylight to them. Don't let them back out of there till they learn their lesson.
But I think the problem, though, is the parenting. The parents won't get onto the kids either because they're afraid of them.
It is. They come and defend them. They're like,
Because the
well, you
parents are
shouldn't
raised with
violate
trophy
their
time.
rights. If they want to vape in the bathroom, they can vape in the bathroom. No, you have to be 21 to own a vape. They're breaking the law.
Yeah,
but they got transportation trophies for that, for raising kids. I mean, kids are just another trophy to some of these people.
Well, I think the biggest thing is parents they want to be the kids' friend, not parents. Like what we were going at earlier, and all the ones that I know that have kids that are super disrespectful, the parents are afraid of them. Is that the parents want to be the friend? They don't want to be the parent. And now I say this my kids don't get beat, they don't get spankings, but I guarantee you if I raise my hand up and act like I was going to smack one of them, they would go like that. And it's not because they know where the line's at. I don't have to do that stuff. but they know if I had to, I would. And as a parent, you have to have that. My mom always called it the fear of God, right? Because my mom,
That's it. You're a God. She brought you in this
My-
world. She'll take you out.
My dad used to always
My
tell
God,
me, if you don't have their attention by the time they're 2, you're never going to have it. You take care of all that discipline by the time they're 2, and from that point on, all you got to do as a man and as a husband and the head of the household is you look at them and, do we need to go have a talk?
yeah.
And it's over.
Right. And that
So,
last
like-
generation missed all that because they were all the participation trophies thing. They missed all that.
And
They
that's
have
not being
not
abusive.
all, not like Mitchell, not like counting you. You're an exception rule, but a majority of them missed out on that stuff. And so they don't know that.
So I can tell you the story now that my mom's passed away. So I was a hellion a little bit growing up when I was in my teenage years. There's more to the backstory, but I got kicked out when I was 16 years old because my stepdad and I didn't get along. We'll just leave it at that. I come home. Well, I didn't go home. I went to my mom's house because she wanted me to come over so we could go to church at the next day and stay the night. So I did. Well, I went to a party with some friends of mine. They just got back from Afghanistan at the time. It was before everything really kicked off or anything like that over there. They were just stationed over there. So I went to their coming home party. We were real good friends. And this girl drove me home. She hit every damn T-post on the way down my driveway. It was a half mile long down to my parents' house. It was a half mile long down there. She hit every one of these T-posts. And my room was still there. I was allowed over, but I didn't live there anymore because my stepdad and I. So my mom comes in my room. She opens the door, and I'm laying there. The dresser's laying on top of me, and I'm out of it. And I'm not condoning this. If there's any kids coming and watching this, you shouldn't be a moron like I was. But my mom, she looked at me, and she's like, "Well, it doesn't look like you're going to church, so whenever you get up, just come back over for dinner tonight." I was like, "Okay." She leaves. She turns around because no one had cell phones back then, and she drives back down to the house. And she's like, "Before you go anywhere, you need to make sure you straighten up every one of them T-posts and that fence is fixed." And I looked at her and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she went like this, and I swear to God, I went. And I was, by the time I was 14 years old, I was 5'10", 180 pounds. I wasn't a small kid. I mean, I was in pretty good shape because I worked out all the time. I played sports, But my mom, she was 5'5", 110 pounds soaking wet, and boy, she raised her hand up. I'd flinch. I swear to God, I wouldn't even. Would she? So whenever she was in the hospital right before she passed away, I said something to her, poking fun at her, because she said she was having leg pain, and her leg was amputated from her knee up on one of her legs. She's having some knee, some foot. It was phantom foot, is what it was. You know, I reached down there and I said, "You want me to tickle it?" she went like that, and I went like that. My wife, she's just like, "I can't believe your mom can make you flinch." But I've seen grown men hit you, and you just sit there and look at them like they're stupid. It's like, well, it's my mom.
Yep.
It's your mom or your dad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to get off here. I need to take care of the rest of my film. So,
Rest of your video.
yep.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming up, Dale.
I haven't finished my video either. I got one I got to edit.
All right.
It's almost
Well,
midnight here, so I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys
All right.
later.
Bye,
All right,
Dale.
Al. We'll talk to you later.
Bye,
See you,
Al.
Dale.
Bye, ya.
Later.
Bye,
Dale.
Jerry. Bye,
See you,
Al.
Jerry.
See you, Mitchell.
I'm going to Mitchell.
See you, Mitchell.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're gonna be all by yourself.
I know. And there's only
You
4
know-
people. It's an open deal. The deal's pinned up. No one wants to come up and talk.
Sunday
could've
night.
changed the
Everybody's
subject.
going to work tomorrow.
I know, but this is the only day I have to do a live, so I was like, I'll do it.
How long have you done this one?
2 hours
been on
and 34 minutes right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
You
know?
can go, Jerry. You can go, Jerry. It's okay.
Hey, I don't want you to hurt. I don't want your feelings hurt. You know. Hey, but I'm gonna go because I got to get this video done so I can get it loaded for tomorrow morning.
All right, Jerry. I appreciate you
Check
coming
out
up.
my video tomorrow. You'll see what I was doing.
Okay.
All right, later.
Later.
Yeah.
And then there was 2.
Then there was 2. It was a good
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid to have those kind of conversations, but I think if we had more conversations like that. Now, I'm not for people spanking their kids and beating them, right?
I'm not for people who beat their kids because
Right.
people abuse it. Yes, people abuse power. They get it in their heads that I'm right and it doesn't matter. I'm going to beat crap out of it. No, discipline. Yes,
Well, and I think
I mean like there's
I've
at a
never-
certain point I've got out of line when I was younger. At a certain point, and there was a certain point where I got a back of the hand across the face.
yeah.
I deserved it.
Well, yeah, I'm right there with you. I deserved every bit of punishment. Well, not every bit. There's been several of them that I wasn't even involved in and I got punished for. That's the reason why I didn't get along with my stepdad. But I think the biggest thing that I've always tried to do is not punish my kids when I'm angry. I always wait until I calm down. And honestly, my kids don't. Now, my boy is getting the age where he gets his driver's license in August, and he's 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And there's another one, but I'm not going to say it. And he thinks that he's just right, and there may be issues, and I'm sure if he's anything like I was, he's going to try to push the envelope a little bit. But I think giving them a little bit of rein, you have to let them mess up a little bit too.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. But I mean, like I'm on the other end of that spectrum where I don't get angry very easy at all. Like it takes a lot to get me angry. But when I do, you don't want to be around me. I'm like the Hulk. You won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah.
But the point being was, my daughter never saw me angry in her entire lifetime except for once. That one time I was angry, I wasn't even angry at her. And she went in the room screeching and bawling because she never saw me like that before.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of funny you say that, Al. My wife and I had this conversation. My wife has seen me angry in the past before we have kids, but not at my wife, but at
well, yes, at situational things that happen. Like I wasn't angry with anything that was going on in the house. I was angry with my wife's niece that was staying with us at the time made me angry.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that my daughter was there and she saw me getting angry and she took off. She was like, no. Right?
Well,
I mean, like I didn't hit or I didn't swing or anything like that. I just got very loud and my tone changed, my demeanor changed. You could tell I was mad. Right?
Yeah. Well, and that's where I was going. Like my kids, they think they've seen me mad, but not to the point
angry.
where, right. And so I took my wife down to. My wife's birthday is Valentine's Day, so we went down to a resort one year, and we stayed in this resort. My wife and I did. The kids were real little. They stayed at my in-laws, and my wife was in the shower. I was out getting dressed to go eat dinner at this resort because it was part of the package. Anyway, that's irrelevant. But this guy started coming into the room, and I was like, "Hey, no, we're still here. And he's like, well, it says here that there's no one supposed to be in the room. I was like, well, you need to go back to the desk and you need to get that stuff straightened out because we're still here for 2 more days. And he just kept going and kept going. I finally just shut the door and but he tried to come in, and Nina, the shower was like an open floor plan. So the shower was part of the main room. Like, there was no separation, right? And
Yeah.
I just shut the door on him. I told him, you need to go up to the front office and I'll be up there here in a second. Well, Nina gets out of the shower. We walk up there, and this guy, was telling him what he was doing and being how disrespectful he was being, and he started chuckling. And my wife, she grabbed a hold of me because I was going over the counter, and she looked at me. She's like, Mitchell, you don't need to go to jail today. Just leave it alone. And later on, after we kind of cooled off, and they gave us some free drinks and stuff too because of the whole ordeal. We went to the bar there and we had a few drinks, and she looked at me. She's like, I haven't seen you that angry since you were like 19 years old. She's like, you would have killed him if you got hold of him. I said, I know, and I really wanted to, but you told me I couldn't. So
But the only other time I remember getting really angry was one day I was managing an athletic clothing and footwear store. And the guy that was supposed to be going for the assistant manager, there was 2 that were going for the assistant manager spot. There was a guy and a girl that both wanted the spot. They were both working there the longest. So I told them, whoever has the better outcome in the next few months, everyone going to get it. So anyway, he was supposed to open the store Sunday. Now, he was supposed to be in there at 10 o'clock. So I get a phone call at 10:30. There's nobody in the store. This was the other person that was going for the assistant manager spot. I said, what do you mean? I'm outside because I came up to get some paperwork, and there's nobody here in the store. Everybody's out waiting, trying to get in so they can go to work. I don't have my keys with me because I was expecting the other fella to be here. So I said, okay. I said, give me a minute, I'll come up. I said, maybe he's just running late or something. So I came up. Well and good. The store opened. We were open for 2.5 hours, and in he strolls, still half drunk. I said, what happened to you? I went to town with some of my friends, and I got drunk, and they left me downtown, and I had no way home. I said, you knew you had to work today. Why did you go out to town to begin with without having a way home? And I stood up and I had a conversation with him, getting no louder than what I am talking to you now. The other girl that wanted the assistant manager spot was maybe about 2 feet away, petrified to move. And the conversation I had with him, he just said, okay. At the end of it, he says, he didn't even really say anything. He just kind of looked at me. I said, and you know you're fired now, right? And he said, yes. I was like, I just laid into him without even having to raise my voice. I was so mad that I didn't have to raise my voice to get across my point that I am pissed off with you.
yeah.
It was the only other time I was really, really mad.
Well, I
That
think that
people knew.
I think there's a lot of times where you can, the calmer you are in the worst situations, relays the message of you're more mad than what you probably should be. Hey, Rebecca, we're about ready to close it up. We don't have very much longer. Al's getting tired, and it's been long enough for me on here too. Al and I were finishing our conversation up here, but yeah, no, I think there's definitely times where, so where you can stay calm and still have a not calm, but you know what I mean.
You can keep your
Whenever-
composure
Yeah, that's the
and
word I was looking for.
lay into somebody.
So we had just moved back to the town where I grew up, where I went to high school and everything. The kids were still real little. We're up at the little gas station. There's only 2 little gas stations here in town, and that's it. And we're getting gas in the car because we're fixing to go down to my sister's. It was right after my mom passed away for Christmas. So we're getting gas in the car, filling up because it's a 3-hour drive. This guy walks up to me. To this day, I still don't know who it is. And I'm not even paying attention to him. I'm watching the pump, and the kids are talking to me because they're wanting something out of the store. And he just walks up and cold cocks me right in the jaw. And I turn around, and all I hear is my kids screaming and my wife saying, Mitchell, just yelling, this Mitchell. And I went from seeing red to like, I don't want to hurt him today. Just like that. And about that time, a buddy that I went to high school with, I hadn't seen him at this point in probably 15 years, comes and just tackles this guy right into the side of the car. And he's like, he looks up at me and he's like, you want to hit him now? And I was like, no, not in front of my kids. And he's like, because him and I, we used to go do so they used to have, before cage fighting, MMA fighting got real big, they used to have cage fightings here or in the same county, but it's called the White Barn Estates. They used to have cage fights there. Me and him used to do that right from we graduated high school. We started doing that every Sunday and Saturday. They have cage fights. Him and I would go up there and we'd fight anybody that would want to get in the ring with us. Right? Just young, dumb, and think we're tough. He looked at me. He's like, "Are you telling me all those cage fighting stuff made you soft?" And I was like, "In front of my kids, it did."
Yeah.
So that was the one time that I was like I wanted to kill somebody, and hearing my kids cry was like, no, not today.
That was enough. That was enough to get you to
Yeah.
bring your composure back to where it needed to be.
Other than the time with my wife, like I was saying, the time with my wife, like I was seeing red spots, and she grabbed the back of my pants and she pulled me down, and she's like, "No, not right now." I was like, "Okay." When I was younger,
Please let that guy live.
What'd you say? Al?
Please let that guy behind the counter live.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, my wife and I have been dating since we were juniors. I was a junior in high school, and like she's seen me whenever I had a really short temper, and I think I was not a very good human at that point in my life. Not that I wasn't a good person. I just I got angry easy. I did things that probably, looking back now, that I probably shouldn't have done, and handled things I shouldn't have handled that way. But
Well, I think we all went through phases like that at some point or another.
yeah, I think, I always chalk mine up to is I didn't have a good father figure to look up to around me close. Right. And then the older I got, I was like, I can't use that as an excuse. I am an adult. I have to make the good decisions. And I think once I realized that, and I got past that angry teenager stage, that I realized that you're accountable for your own actions. And I think that, and having when Landon was born, that changed my whole life, right? Like I went from drinking almost every day to now I don't drink, and I pretty much quit after Nina said that, hey, I'm pregnant. And I was like, well, okay, it's time to grow up. But anyway. And I
No, I hear you. There's life altering moments that come upon a lot of people.
Well, and for me, I
You
think
know, and it's,
my big thing, Al, I think was I didn't have a like I have a dad, right? Everybody has a dad, but they don't. Not everybody has a father, right?
yeah.
And some people say that and they use that phrase very loosely, but it's really like I didn't know who my dad was until Landon was 3 months old. I knew who he was. I remember him as a little bitty kid. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. But he was very abusive to my mom and things. There's a lot of things that I don't want to get talking about, but like, I'm glad that my mom did what my mom did whenever we were little. I probably wouldn't be the person I am today had my mom not done that. There's a lot of, by all statistics, I should not be at the place where I'm at. If that makes sense.
You know, it does. It
And
does.
had my mom not got away from that situation, I would be just another one just like him, right? But anyway, enough of the sad story.
Well, I can feel for you on that, and I can sort of understand some of it because my father was an alcoholic
Yeah, so was mine.
from before I was born. So I didn't know him as anything but an alcoholic. And that had its whole host of, it's living with an alcoholic is a whole host of other issues.
Yeah. Well, and that was
So I had a moment, and it was before I met Nicole and before any pregnancy or anything like that. But I had a moment that came about in my life. I would say about a year or so before I met her, where I stopped everything I was doing that was wrong and bad, like drinking. I was into drinking, drugs, a lot of stupid shit.
yeah.
Excuse the language. A lot of stupid stuff that I was doing, and this stuff happened, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Right? I gotta straighten up, or I am not gonna go nowhere. Right? So I can understand. It's not an easy thing to talk about. It's not an easy place to be. It's not something that's nice to be talking about, and a lot of people don't get it and don't understand it.
Well, I think too, though,
Mhm.
Al, I think it's important to talk about to let people know that there is a way out. You
Yeah.
you have to have willpower. My mom always told me my willpower would let me do anything I ever wanted to do in my life, anything in the world, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't really chalk that much up to it. But the older I get, I see what my mom was talking about. Like, I want to be good at my job, right? We'll use a job as an example. I want to be good at my job. So I did everything in my power to be the best at my job, to best of my abilities to be. And I think you have to have that kind of willpower to want to change your situation, change your life, to succeed and to be I say this kind of loosely, but a good member of society. I'm just saying a good human, really, not just what country you live at. But I truly believe had my mom not got away when she did, me and my sisters, we'd have been like two of my cousins, you know.
You'd be doomed to repeat the process.
Yeah, and you can break
Mhm.
your situation or the patterns of your family's life. It's not just your family's fault that you're that way. You have to make yourself better.
Well,
that goes-
that's what I was headed down the road of either doomed to repeat the process or, something worse.
Yeah.
So I had to break the cycle in order to find myself, find who I am.
Well, my grandpa, my mom's dad, always had a saying when I was a kid, and I don't remember it verbatim, but it's a weak man or strong man leads to weak times lead to strong men, and it is a cycle, but that you kind of set up for your kids, right? So me being a little bit more successful, having more money than what my family did, I'm setting my kids up to be a little softer than what I grew up. Like
Yeah.
You hate to think about it that you're not letting your kid be the toughest that their ability can let them be. Like my sisters and like it was pretty rough growing up, right? But my kids and my sister's kids is none of them they don't have to worry about things like what we did. Like,
No, this is where income's finding. You got to find that balance of, I don't want them to go through what I went through,
right.
but I don't want them to be the bottom of the barrel. Like they're shielded from everything.
Yeah.
They need to live life, make mistakes, learn from them, and move on and become stronger because of it.
Yeah. But and doing that, you have to get to that point of like Landon. He's at to the point where he needs a car, right? Well, all of his friends' parents are going and buying them cars. Well, I made a deal with them years ago, and it's the same for my daughters. I'm not going to change it just because they're girls. I will match what money you have to buy a car. I'm not going to go buy a car for you, but I'll match it. If you have $500, I'm going to come up with $500. You have $15,000, I'll come up with $15,000. But I'm not going to buy it for you.
Yeah.
It's just and there's a couple parents and I have had this conversation. They're like, well, it's hard for them to make money. I had a full-time job, was a valedictorian in school, and played sports. It's not hard. It's willpower. What do you want to do?
You have to have the work ethic to put behind no matter what you want to do.
Yeah. And I think and the one that I'm talking about, him and I they come from different sides of the tracks, if you know what I mean. Like we were on the poor side, his family was not, and we kind of had this same conversation. He's like, yeah, he talked about it. He's like, yeah, but I had like 4 vehicles by the time I graduated. I said I had one. I put a motor in it, rebuilt the motor myself, and put it in it, and I drove that thing until I was 20 years old. I said I took care of it because it was mine. If something happened to it, it was my responsibility to fix it, and that's what I want to instill in my kids. Like you don't want to go tear it up just because it's somebody else's. When it's a slippery slope.
Yep, for sure.
Well, Al, we're approaching the 3-hour mark, and you've pretty much been here since the beginning. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So when we hit the 3-hour mark, we'll go ahead and call it a night because I still do have to get ready for work. I am surprised. Honestly, my work phone has rang and rang and rang all day, and the moment I started live, I haven't heard a peep out of it.
Well, right now I'm in Monday.
Oh yeah, it's at midnight there, huh?
It's past midnight here. Yep. 10 past midnight, so I'm in Monday. I'm in the future. No one knows how Jonesy feels.
Right? Well, let me know the winning lottery numbers so I can go buy them.
No, I'm saving them for myself.
Well, they won't be winners if you have them. You're the future supposed to be giving me good advice.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see what I can get. Oh, it's just coming up blank.
So I don't buy.
I guess
lottery.
nobody's gonna win. Nobody's gonna
Right.
win. You stop. Doors. She rolls over. And she'll reach up and grab my hand. And then she'll nibble. What are you nibbling for? She won't bite hard. She'll just,
Let you know she's there.
yeah. This is give me attention. Not your phone.
All right, Al. We just officially hit the 3-hour mark, so I am going to call it. Appreciate you coming up, and thanks everybody for coming in the chat and hanging out. We'll see you guys next
See
time.
you, everyone.
Maybe.